Falmouth back on the road, and they're taking on another East Divisional team as Falmouth hits the road tonight to take on Orleans here from Eldridge Park. Good evening, everybody. David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday evening. Last night, these two teams faced off back at the Gov, and it was a 1-0 shutout victory for the Falmouth Commodores, their first shutout of the season. Also picked up their first win at home. And Matt, we talked about it on Closing the Door last night, but there was storyline after storyline after storyline, all of them happy in last night's win.
Well, right before the game, Tommy Summer, one of the pitchers, gets drafted by the Chicago White Sox. He got the call. His phone was blowing up, and the athletic trainer, Laura Murphy, took every single player's phone and put it in a box so that nobody was invested in what's going on in the draft and who's doing what and whatever. Everybody's focused up in the game that they were about to play. All of a sudden, Tommy's phone starts blowing up. So Laura said, "Oh, Tommy, you got to go check your phone." Sure enough, he was getting the call. He was getting drafted. So that happened right before first pitch, probably about 4 minutes or so before the game started. And then what we expected to be a slugfest on the night of MLB's Home Run Derby just became an absolute pitcher's duel. The best start by Tyler Tuthill in his first start for the Commodores, the best outing for him. He went 6 scoreless innings and only gave up 3 base runners. And after that, it was just storyline after storyline. Cody Colden is the hero, the only difference in the RBI single for him. And Brendan Malone hit the double to get into scoring position to then be brought in by Colden, the 9-hitter, who has been struggling tremendously. Then you had a diving catch in the 9th inning by Anthony Hall, which saved the game with a runner in scoring position. So everything went the way of the Commodores, despite it not being a perfect game last night for them, and they were still able to pick up the W.
So Falmouth gets that first win of the home that season. And now Falmouth at the Gov is 1-6-1, so they finally got the weight off of their shoulders. And they hit the road again where they've been pretty successful this season. On the year, Falmouth is 5-2-1 away from home. It's been where they've picked up most of their points. And they were supposed to play here at Eldridge Park back on Saturday. But shortly after the team arrived here in Orleans, the game was called due to unplayable field conditions, so that game was canceled. Tonight we get the only meeting of the year here at Eldridge Park, and so Orleans is going to be hungry for revenge. Falmouth is going to look to continue those winning ways on the road, and these are two teams that only see one another now a couple times this season, but on a back-to-back, it feels like they're a little bit familiar with one another.
Well, you don't have to do too much scouting differently. Nothing really changes from last night. It's sort of the same approach because it's so recent since they last played, just not even 24 hours ago since that game ended. And also, the quickest game of the season, failed to mention that, last night. 2 hours, and I think it was 7 minutes. So, phenomenal game yesterday. You just turn it around and come back. And it's not like these two teams are any different than they were last night. A couple of guys drafted, a couple signed, and things like that. But for the most part, the makeup of these teams doesn't really change in one day. And had they played once in the beginning of the season, once in the end of the season, then you got to do a lot more preparing and different things like that. So it's just a quick turnaround and sort of the same approach that both these teams had last night.
One of the relievers for Orleans, Hayden Thomas, who pitched last night, came out of last night's game and said, you got to love a quick game from a pitching standpoint because it probably means you're doing something well. And sure enough, both teams last night only able to pick up 3 hits, but in the end, it was Falmouth who got that 1-0 victory. So we flip the script and we turn the page to tonight's contest between these two sides. Falmouth will have on the mound Antoine Jean, who will be making his second start of the season. He last pitched just over a week ago at YD, so his second straight start against an Eastern Divisional team. And he had a pretty good start in that first outing against YD. He was pretty limited in how long he was able to go, only went a couple of innings against the Red Sox. But nonetheless, he helped put Falmouth in a position to win that ball game, and he's going to be looking to do that again tonight.
He's got to come out with a strong first inning. That was his issue in his first start, and probably some jitters with that as well. Gave up a single to the 2-hitter Wyatt Hoffman for YD, and then Nate Baez, the 3-hitter, drove him in with a double right after that. Then he got 2 straight groundouts, and then just 1 hit after that in the second inning. So he was able to retire all but 3 guys through his first time through the order. Then his day was done. If he can retire more than that through his first 9 tonight, probably be in a better situation to go farther in the outing as well.
And while we're on the topic of pitching, the Falmouth pitching as a whole has been much better on the road this season than at home. The Commodores away from the Gov this year, a 3.26 ERA, allowing opponents to hit just 210 against them. And like we mentioned before, Falmouth has been much more successful on the road this season, going 5-2-1. So the arms have been better on the bump away from the Gov.
Yeah, and we talked about it going into a couple of nights ago at home, that the ERA was well over 6 for this staff at home. On the road, it's been much better, and I'm gonna use this. The only reason why it's been better, I don't know if this is really the reason why, but I think that it is that Falmouth hits first on the road. They get a lead early, and then their pitchers are more comfortable on the mound. That's what it seems like every game that they start, or if they score in the first inning, their pitchers come out with a lead in the bottom of the first, and then all of a sudden they're much more comfortable than starting the game off and trying to work back, chasing runs like they have been so often at home. So if they can, again, score offensively in the first and then come back, have a good first inning with the pitching and defensively, it's going to be a good start, and that's how you get some momentum generating the rest of the way.
Well, we talked about in last night's game, and really for several of the home games this season for Falmouth, that it had been the opposition that scored first, and that was the reason that Falmouth had struggled so much at home, was because they were finding themselves in holes early on. But on the road this season, Falmouth has scored first in all but 2 of those road games. So the road has been a much more comforting sight for Falmouth this season. And again, they look to continue that success here tonight at Eldridge Park. Opposing Antoine Jean will be Thomas Schultz, who will be making his first start of the season for Orleans. He's coming out of Vanderbilt, one of the guys who had the opportunity to pitch in the College World Series. And before we continue, I believe we're having the national anthem coming up here from Eldridge Park. So we'll step aside here from Orleans. Actually, check that. I guess we're still going. PA voice incredibly low. It's really tough to hear. We're just trying to make sure that we don't interrupt that. Check that. We're getting it now. So we'll step aside here from Eldridge Park and come back with more of the pregame show here in just a moment. So welcome back in here from Eldridge Park. David Adar alongside Matt Levine as we're just moments away from first pitch. Before we continue here on the pregame show, our sideline reporter Joanne Bethay had an opportunity to sit down with hitting coach Ryan Eiley before tonight's contest to get his thoughts on a few different topics. So let's hear from that right now.
Coach, you have 2 current players that just got drafted, a bunch from the 2019 team. Does it ever get old seeing your players move up to the next level?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is what their hopes and dreams are all about, and so when you see them on the draft go, it's pretty exciting. So I'm super happy for all our guys, and particularly our 2 guys that are here now.
Last night, a huge at-home victory. What went right in that game?
I think we played solid defense, and I think we pitched extremely well. We didn't swing the bats all that great, but it was a tough day to hit. So when we could scratch around 1 run and have the pitchers pitch behind us, I mean, they did an outstanding job, particularly Ty Hill.
Yeah. How do you, as a coach, get your players to use that momentum?
I think we just got to feed off of each other and feed off the energy that a win brings us, in particular our first home win, you know. So, we just kind of got to roll into the next day, take it day by day, but today's a new day. We got to make sure we bring the energy.
Awesome. Good luck today, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you heard there from our sideline reporter Joanne Bethay alongside with hitting coach Ryan Eiley. And Orleans now taking the field here at Eldridge Park as Thomas Schultz on the mound for his first start of the season and first appearance of the season for Orleans. Schultz out of Vanderbilt University had an opportunity to pitch in the College World Series in the final game against Mississippi State. He went 1 inning in that outing, but couldn't help his team get the victory in that loss to the Bulldogs. And so the 6'6" righty out of Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania will take the mound tonight for Orleans for the first time. Luke Boyers digs in to lead things off here for Falmouth. We'll give you the rest of the lineup in just a moment. Luke Boyers, the lefty, and the right-handed pitcher with the first pitch home, and it's in and a ball. First pitch coming at 7 o'clock on the dot here from Eldridge Park. Last night, a 2-hour and 7-minute contest between these two sides as strike 1 dropped in from Schultz. Boyers leads things off. Braden Taylor bats second. Jace Borfin bats third. He's tonight's designated hitter. Taylor Smith, the cleanup hitter, and he's catching as the 2-1 pitch comes home. Anthony Hall bats fifth and plays out in left. Michael Curiali bats sixth and plays out in right. Jake Ducart bats seventh and plays at third base. Brennan Malone, the first baseman, bats eighth. And Cody Colden rounds this lineup out, playing short as the count now 2-2 here on Boyers. Boyers with a couple taps of home plate. And now the delivery home from the right-hander is low and inside, and the count runs full here on the leadoff man. Only meeting of the season here at Eldridge Park between Falmouth and Orleans. As the payoff pitch comes home, and it's grounded back up the middle and through for a base hit as Luke Boyer starts things off with a base hit as he drives it up the middle and into center field. And so last night, Falmouth only had 3 hits, but they waste no time picking up the first base hit tonight as Luke Boyer starts things off.
Commodores recently have been hitting well with no runners on base. Now they have to start hitting better with runners on, and that's how you'll start to score more runs. We've seen them put up a couple of games where they just score runs off of homers, and that hasn't been enough to win those 2 that we've seen that. So if they can hit with runners on base tonight, they should be in a good spot to win.
Here's another lefty, Braden Taylor, who takes ball 1 above the letters. Taylor hitting .295 coming into tonight's contest. That average dipping a little below 300 after last night going 0 for 2 with a couple of walks and a couple of Ks. As the 1-0 delivery, this one down by his feet, and the count now 2-0 here on Taylor. A couple of TCU guys to start off this game for Falmouth, and the TCU head coach, Jim Schlossnagel, is in attendance at tonight's contest, sitting just to the right of home plate as the 2-0 pitch comes home, and it's in over the heart of the plate for strike 1 here on Taylor.
Got to be fun coming to watch your guys play on the Cape in the league's best summer league, or the country's best summer league, rather.
We've seen different collegiate head coaches here on the Cape. The Arkansas head coach around as well as Braden Taylor Pops this one into center field. Luke Boyers is running on the pitch. Now he's going to retreat back towards first as out in center field. The center fielder, Chase DeLauder, gets under it to make the grab, and there's one gone. So first out of the ball game there as Luke Boyers heads back towards first, and that'll bring up the 3-hitter, Jace Borfin, who's tonight's designated hitter for Falmouth. And the first pitch home to him is low and inside for ball 1. This is a Falmouth team that's 5-2-1 on the road this season. They've scored first in all but 2 of their road games, and they have a man on here as Borfin pops this one up. It's going to go out of play to the left side, and it's off the fencing just behind the Commodores' dugout. And so the count now on on Borfin is 1-1. Falmouth tonight wearing their road uniforms, the black tops with maroon numbering and lettering on them, gray pants for them. As the 1-1 delivery comes home, a breaking ball that's inside, and the count now 2-1 here on Borfin.
Commodores wore the black jerseys at home yesterday trying to get some of that road mojo going, and they were able to pick up the W. We'll see how long we see these black jerseys at home for now after this.
And the 2-1 pitch comes in way upstairs on Borfin, so the count now 3-1. On Orleans' side, wearing just about all white hats with a red brim. Their jerseys sleeveless with Firebirds written across the front in red script. As the 3-1 pitch, a check swing from Borfin that he waves at, so the count now full here on the Arkansas Razorback, and their pants completely white. Matt talked about it last night, but all these uniforms for Orleans supplied by Marcus Stroman, the Mets pitcher, as his brand height doesn't measure heart. The 3-2 pitch comes home. Running on the pitch is Boyers. Slides in feet first safely to second, but it was a called third strike on Borfin, so he goes down looking. In at second is Luke Boyers, and there's 2 gone here in the top of the first.
It's Boyers' second stolen bag of the year. Ran on the 3-2 pitch with 1 out. He tried to run when Braden Taylor hit a ball into center field. So already in scoring position now, and your 4-hitter is up. Got to be able to hit with runners on. You got to be able to hit with runners in scoring position and produce runs without trying to hit solo home runs to win ball games.
Here's the cleanup hitter and the first right-handed batter of the night for Falmouth in Taylor Smith, who comes up with 2 outs here in the inning. And the first pitch to him, a breaking ball in for strike 1 at the belt. Smith hitting .227 this season, 3 home runs on the year. And this is an interesting park to hit home runs in because down the right field line, it's .314. It's .300 down the left field line as the 0-1 delivery comes home. And another breaking ball, this one high and away for ball 1. But to straightaway center, 434 feet. This field isn't curved around. It's straight lines, and so at straightaway center, it's a 90-degree angle. It's a really interesting layout here for a park, and it's one of the first I've ever seen like this. As the 1-1 delivery now comes home from Schultz, it's fanned on by Smith, and he's behind in the count 1-2. Have you seen a ballpark like this?
Not with the fencing having a 90-degree angle and just jutting out in a straight line. Usually the outfield will curve. You'll be able to play the ball, or at least outfielders are used to playing balls off of a bounce off a fence that is curved like that. But this, it's going to be different reads off of bouncing off the fence.
1-2 pitch fanned on by Taylor Smith, and Thomas Schultz ends the inning with back-to-back Ks. The Commodores strand Luke Boyers at second, and we'll move to the bottom of the first with the Orleans Firebirds coming to bat for the first time here from Eldridge Park. Welcome back here to Eldridge Park as the Commodores take the field for the first time this evening as we move to the bottom of the first. Antoine Jean gets the start tonight. It's his second of the season for Falmouth, and he'll be facing Orleans, who's 7-7-2 on the season. Peyton Chatinier will lead things off. He plays at second. Luke Keischel is the 2-hitter, and he's tonight's designated hitter as well. Julio Marcano, the 3-hitter who plays out in left field. Chase DeLauder, the cleanup man, plays in center. Tyler Locklear at first base, bats fifth. Matt Goodhart, the 6-hitter, plays out in right field. David Marcano plays at shortstop and bats seventh. Corey Acton, the third baseman, bats eighth. And Garrett Guillemette rounds things out in this lineup as he catches tonight for Orleans. So Jean is on the bump here for Falmouth. His last start coming at YD 8 days ago. He went 2 innings in that outing for the Commodores, gave up 1 run on 3 hits. Was able to face the minimum, though. Just 9 batters faced, or check that, was able to almost face the minimum with the 9 batters that he had as the first pitch home to Chatinier is low and away for ball 1 here on the Orleans Firebird right-handed hitter. Chatinier hitting .276 on the season. Went 0 for 4 last night in the loss to the Commodores as the 1-0 pitch is drilled down the left field line but foul and into the crowd as the count evens up here at 1-1. Orleans here at home this season, a record of 5-2-2. They've played well here. They've struggled a bit against the West. They're 2-3-1 against the West, but trying to change that tonight as the 1-1 delivery from Jean is low and away, and the count runs now to 2-1 here on Chatinier. It's a gloomy day here at Eldridge Park. Some fog beyond center field. The wind blowing out to right field as the 2-1 pitch is lined past the diving Braden Taylor at second and into center field where Luke Boyers will field it. A big turn taken by Chatinier at first, but he's on with a leadoff single here for Orleans.
Chatinier went 0 for 4 last night. Flied out to left twice, flied out to center twice. And now doesn't waste any time getting his first hit of this back-to-back home-and-home series between Falmouth and Orleans.
Here's Luke Keischel now, playing in his second game for Orleans out of San Francisco. A California native from Watsonville as the first pitch from Jean is on the outside corner for strike 1. In his first game last night, Keischel went 1 for 3 with a single in the 8th. Orleans was able to get both Keischel along with Jared McKenzie in the 9th to get all the way to third, but they couldn't bring that lone run of the ballgame that they needed home as the 1-1 pitch is fanned on from Keischel, and the count now, check that, 0-2 here on Keischel. So Keischel came 90 feet away from being the tying run for Orleans, but they just couldn't get it home as Falmouth brought home its first shutout of the season. The 0-2 pitch up and away, and the count now 1-2 here on Keischel. Scoreless ball game between Falmouth and Orleans, team's second meeting of the season on a back-to-back here. Second and final meeting of the season. Jean set. The left-hander looks over towards first, and now the delivery home. Swing and a miss, and he's able to set down Keischel. Check that, a foul ball they're going to say, as it popped out of the glove of Taylor Smith behind the dish. So he stays alive. The count's still 1-2 here on Luke Keischel. Lights on here at Eldridge Park. The 7 o'clock start here. There are only 2 teams in the CCBL who regularly start at 7. Here and Chatham. And Falmouth now has played at both these ballparks. Here's another 1-2 delivery, and this one popped behind home plate and out of play as it'll reach the seats. And the count remains 1-2 here on Luke Keischel. Another really good crowd here at Eldridge Park. Orleans, one of the top teams in the league in terms of fan attendance, sitting at third in the league as the 1-2 delivery is grounded on the left side over to Colden at short, throws across his body in time to Brendan Malone at first, and there's one gone as Peyton Chatinier advances to second on the ground ball.
Something that was visibly noticeable during batting practice was how slow the infield and outfield grasses play tonight, especially with how damp they are with the earlier rain the last couple of days. Just thick grass and it's wet, so it plays as a slow ground ball, and that's why that wasn't able to be turned into a double play for Colden. Just had to take that to first for the sure out.
One gone here for Julio Marcano out of NJIT, and before Jean can throw a pitch home, Taylor Smith going to call time and come out to talk with his Alabama pitcher. And a quick meeting between the two, and Smith now back behind home plate for Falmouth.
A couple of SEC guys in the battery tonight for Falmouth.
We've seen both Smith as well as French rotate around at that catcher spot for Falmouth. And now things set to get going as Peyton Chatinier leads off of second here for Orleans in the bottom of the first. Scoreless between Falmouth and Orleans as the first pitch home to Marcano is over the plate for strike one, as called by tonight's home plate umpire Tom Ryberg. Kevin Coughlin is the umpire down at first, and Mark Delaney over at third. Jean is set. Gives a look back towards second, another one, and now he comes home with the pitch, and it's low and inside as the count runs to 1-1 here on Julio Marcano. Marcano hitting 189 on the season for the Firebirds. He's 7 for 37 at the plate. And he fans on the 1-1 pitch. Now the count 1-2 here on the NJIT Highlander. Marcano, one of two Marcanos in this lineup for Orleans. His twin brother, David Marcano, playing tonight in his third game for the Firebirds. He bats seventh for this team, so we'll see him in a little bit as the 1-2 pitch swung on and miss from Marcano, and Antoine Jean able to pick up his first K of the night, and there's now two gone here in the bottom of the first.
Well, Jean just attacking the zone on the three-hitter. Marcano wasn't shy, just constantly pounding the zone, and is able to pick up a swing and a miss for the strikeout.
That brings up the cleanup man, Chase DeLauder, out of JMU. First left-handed hitter in this lineup tonight for Orleans as the pitch comes home, and he lines it right to Cody Colden, who running to his right is able to make the grab and end the inning. So after a leadoff single from Peyton Chatinier, 1-2-3, the Firebirds go down in order, and we move to the second. Scoreless here between Falmouth and Orleans. Scoreless between Orleans and Falmouth as we move to the second here from Eldridge Park. David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for spending some of your Tuesday night with us. Falmouth will be off tomorrow, so no broadcast tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday as the Commodores at home to take on Wareham. Tomorrow, the only Wednesday off day that the Commodores have this year. Every other off day coming on a Thursday, but tomorrow, Commodores will have some rest and then play 7 games in 7 days. So a bit of a long stretch there for this team. As we move to the second, Anthony Hall leads things off for Falmouth as 5, 6, and 7 will come up this inning. Here's the first pitch home from Schultz is high and away. Hall thought about swinging at it, but ends up laying off the pitch, and the count goes to 1-0 here on the Oregon Duck. Brings his bat back, and now the 1-0 pitch from Schultz. This one just outside, and the count now 2-0 here on the left-handed hitter. Hall last night went 0 for 3 with a walk against Orleans, as the 2-0 pitch from Schultz, and pretty much the same location as the other two, just outside, and now the count 3-0 here on Hall. Schultz has his sign, and the 6-6 righty deals home way outside, and a 4-pitch walk here that Anthony Hall has. So back-to-back innings where Falmouth able to get the leadoff man aboard as he takes the trot down towards first, and that brings up Michael Curiali. Didn't see too many free passes last night from Orleans. The pitching staff for them only allowed 4 walks on the night to Falmouth. But in the end, the Commodores able to capitalize on a base hit from Brennan Malone for the only run of the game, as the first pitch to Michael Curiali is outside, and now 5 straight balls to start the inning here from Thomas Schultz. Curiali playing out in right tonight, his first game starting in right field, as the 1-0 delivery comes home, and it's fouled back right to us. And fortunately, some netting in front of us, so no harm done.
I'm making the play on that, David. I don't want there to be a net. I want to be able to make a play.
You can have all the plays you want, because it will take the net all day, every day. Count sits now at 1-1 here on Michael Curiali, and the pitch home as running on it is Anthony Hall. The hit and run in effect, and it falls in front of the center fielder, Chase DeLauder, rounding second and going to third, Anthony Hall. And another base hit tonight for Falmouth as Michael Curiali has his first of the night. There's runners on the corners here for the Commodores here in the top of the second.
That's really good base running from Anthony Hall. Stealing on the pitch. Not only did he get a good jump, but then he reads it into center field, knowing as an outfielder tonight the grass is slow, and the play's right in front of him as Chase DeLauder has to sprint all the way in to field that. The ball pretty much died and came to a complete stop before it was able to get into his glove. So Anthony Hall taking advantage and going to third base on that play.
So that brings up now Jake Ducart for Falmouth with runners on the corners, nobody out here, and the first pitch he sees, he fouls into the backstop for strike one. Ducart with 9 RBIs on the season, getting the start tonight at third base for Falmouth. After last night having the evening off for Falmouth, brings his bat back, and the pitch from the righty is way upstairs. It was above the head of Ducart, and so the catcher for Orleans and Garrett Guillemette had to literally jump up to stop that ball and prevent Hall from third coming home to score. So the count now sits at 1-1 here on Jake Ducart. And Guillemette thought about going out to talk with his pitcher, but ends up retreating back to home plate. And so we'll get the pitch now from the right-hander. Comes set on the mound. And he's going to throw over towards first. Michael Curiali with a head-first slide back in. Anthony Hall, no movement over at third. So the count's still 1-1 here on Jake Ducart. Scoreless here in the top of the second, but Falmouth threatening. As the 1-1 pitch comes home, Michael Curiali running on it, and it's popped up into foul territory on the left side, and it gets out of play as it finds some fans over behind the Commodores dugout. So count now 1-2 here on Jake Ducart.
Have a little friend next to you, David?
Yeah, I just got real spooked. A moth came out of the page of notes that we have next to us and just walked right across my computer. So that scared me a little.
He wants to come on the air with us.
He's trying to find his way to the microphone, but now he finds his way onto the field, much to my pleasure. So,
well, now he's over there near the Orleans broadcasters. So.
Oh, he found them. The broadcasting moth. Count sits at 1-2 here on Jake Ducart here in the top of the second. Runners on the corners here. And Schultz comes home with the delivery, and it's lined past the diving David Marcano at short and into center field as Jake Ducart has his 10th RBI of the season. Anthony Hall scoring from third, moving to second. Michael Curiali, and Falmouth yet again able to score first on the road this season. It's 1-0 Commodores here over the Firebirds.
Got a pitch to hit right across the middle of the plate and drove it right back up the middle. And that's good base running for Michael Curiali, too, to realize he's got a pause in the air, and then once it gets through, he can stroll into second. Anthony Hall scores easily there, too.
First ball that Brennan Malone sees, he grounds through on the left side, rounding third, coming home. Michael Curiali with a feet-first slide, no tag applied as he's safe at home. Moving to third is Jake Ducart, and now it's 2-0 Falmouth here over the Firebirds in the top of the second. 4 straight base runners have reached for Falmouth. A walk that Anthony Hall had to start the inning, and then 3 straight singles from this Falmouth team. There's still nobody out here in the inning, and like I said before, 2-0 Commodores.
Well, good piece of hitting for Brennan Malone, pulling it through the left side in the air, gets into left field, and that's good base running for Curiali that time to realize that's going to get through, split in between Marcano and Acton at short and third, and he just left right when it got through, able to score easily, and then once the throw came in from the outfield, when Julio Marcano threw it all the way home to try and get Curiali out, that's when Ducart was able to advance from second to third. And that's another, just the base running overall in this first inning has been really, or the second inning rather, has been really solid for Falmouth. And 4 straight guys have reached in this inning, 3 straight hits.
And the first pitch that Cody Colden sees, he lines into right field, and that's going to fall at the edge of the fence, coming from third home to score, Jake Ducart. Moving from first to third is Brennan Malone. And now 4 straight singles for Falmouth to start off this inning. Check that, actually. That was a double from Colden. He put that much power into it. So Cody Colden, who was able to bring home the only run of the game last night for Falmouth, comes in here and picks up his second double of the season. And Falmouth now on top 3-0 here over the Firebirds.
Well, how about this offense? I mean, where was this yesterday?
These guys wasting absolutely no time, swinging on the first pitch they see. Luke Boyers does so as he comes up and he misses at it. So the count 0-1 here on Boyers. But the first pitch that Brennan Malone saw, he put on for a base hit. First pitch that Cody Colden see, able to get a double out of as the 0-1 comes home. And it's over the plate for strike 2 here on Boyers.
And they're hitting it up the middle into center field. They're hitting it to left field. Colden took that the other way into right field. Basically 1-hopped or 2-hopped the fence out there. 314 short porch and right. And after Colden was able to get the RBI single to go his way finally last night, things are going to start to happen for the shortstop from Washington State.
Count now 1-2 here on Boyers. Colden also now with 4 RBIs on the season. He leads off of second. Leading off of third is Brennan Malone. And the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed from Boyer, so he's set down for the first time tonight. That's the first out of the inning here for Falmouth, so still a lot of time left here for them, and that brings up Braden Taylor.
Well, already 6 hitters have come to the plate in this inning. That in itself means you probably had a good inning, and they've been starting to hit with runners on base. That's the key. You drive guys in via base hits because then you get to stand on base yourself and try to be brought in.
First pitch to Braden Taylor, a breaking ball called strike by the home plate umpire, Tom Ryberg. So maybe here Thomas Schultz starting to find the zone a little bit better. He started off the inning with a 4-pitch walk to Anthony Hall. And then from then on, it was just base hit after base hit for Falmouth, picking up 4 straight base hits. 3 of those singles and 1 of them a double as the 0-1 pitch just low and outside for ball 1 here on Taylor. Falmouth with a 3-0 lead here over Orleans in the top of the second. 1 gone here in the inning. And the batter, Braden Taylor, who popped out to chase DeLauder in center his first time up. The 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball at the knees, called strike. And now the count 1-2 here on the TCU hitter. Said this before, but TCU's head coach, Jim Schlossnagel, in the stands tonight to watch a couple of guys that he has here on the Cape as the 1-2 pitch gets away from the catcher, Garrett Guillemette. And coming in to score from third is Brennan Malone. So make it now 4-0 Commodores here in the top of the second. All 4 of these runs plated here in the inning. And that one a wild pitch from Thomas Schultz to bring home the run. Also advancing to third on that, Cody Colden. So the count now 2-2 here on Braden Taylor, and the 2-2 pitch is in for a called third strike. So Schultz able to pick up a couple of Ks here in the inning. He now has 4 on the night, but it's also 4-0 Falmouth. So that brings up now Jace Borfin, who struck out looking back in the first. Comes up with 2 outs here, and Cody Colden over on third as the first pitch to Borfin down by his feet for ball 1 here on the Arkansas Razorback.
Well, all 4 strikeouts for Schultz have come in the top 4 hitters in the order. Other than that, everybody's gotten on base.
1-0 pitch, again down low, now 2-0.
So if the bottom of the order can continue to produce the way it is right now, if they can take this into the rest of the way the second half of the season, that'll be a really good thing for this team.
Here's the 2-0 pitch, fouled off the bat of Borfin over towards the Orleans dugout for strike 1. Well, we've said on broadcast before, the timely hitting for Falmouth has really started to come together. We saw it last night. I mean, there weren't many base runners for the Commodores, but Cody Colden came up in the clutch spot for Falmouth as the 2-1 pitch from Schultz is up and away for ball 3 here on Borfin, but they continue these timely hits, and Falmouth certainly could get rolling. And on a 3-1 count, they're actually just going to not even bother pitching anymore to Borfin. They're just going to give him the walk down towards first. So Borfin reaches base for the first time tonight. Runners on the corners now for Falmouth with Taylor Smith coming up. Smith, the only guy to not step up to the plate this inning for Falmouth. He's the cleanup man. Anthony Hall led the inning off. So Smith steps to the plate for the first time this inning, and should he reach, the Commodores will have batted around. And time called here before Smith steps into the box. And before any more can continue, Garrett Guillemette comes out, gives some defensive signs to his fielders. And now we're just about set to get this second inning back underway. Schultz looks towards first as he comes set, looks over towards his shoulder, and now comes home with a breaking ball that swung on and missed from Smith. Falmouth here with a 4-0 lead over Orleans. In the top of the second, all 4 of those runs coming here this inning. Base knocks from Michael Curiale, Jake Ducart, Brennan Malone, and Cody Colden, all helping to bring home those runs. As Borfin running on the pitch, it's cut on and missed from Smith, and now he's behind in the count 0-2. No throw down towards second, so Jace Borfin in with his 5th stolen base of the season, which leads Falmouth. So Taylor Smith now behind in the count 0-2 with runners on second and third here for Falmouth. And the 0-2 pitch comes home, and he's able to just get a piece of it as he fouls it over towards the Orleans dugout, and he's able to stay alive. Smith hitting .227 on the season, splitting the time at catcher with himself and Jonathan French. Schultz set, and now comes home with the pitch, and it's in for a called third strike. Smith doesn't like it, but Thomas Schultz picks up his 5th K of the night, his 3rd of this inning. But Falmouth able to plate 4 runs here in the top of the second. We move to the bottom half of the inning with Falmouth on top big here over Orleans. Bottom of the second here from Eldridge Park. Falmouth on top by a score of 4-0 here over Orleans. And the Firebirds stepping to the plate for the second time this evening with 5, 6, and 7 set to come up here for the home side. Tyler Locklear will lead things off for Orleans. Locklear finishing up his freshman year at VCU this past year, originally from Abington, Maryland. Named an ABCA first-team All-American this past season as the first pitch from Jean home to him is low and away for ball one on a breaking ball.
Oh, Locklear was hitting absolute moonshots in batting practice. I think he hit 6 in a row deep into left field tonight.
1-0 pitch is in at the knees for a called strike. And some of those home runs actually came our way. We were out in left field getting COVID tested before today's game as required by the CCBL. As the 1-1 pitch down in the dirt, but he gave a check swing at it, did Locklear. So now the count 1-2. And we were out getting COVID tested, and a couple of balls landed in our vicinity, and everybody was jumping around out there.
I was chasing after him, trying to catch him.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Jean outside, and now the count 2-2.
Well, Jean just mixed up his motion to the plate there, did a little hesitation on when he lifted the leg going towards home, trying to throw off the hitter, Locklear, just a little bit in the windup.
2-2. This one just outside, and now the count runs full here on Locklear.
It's a lot like Marcus Stroman, what he does. And with the size that he has at 5'8", being the smallest starting pitcher in the majors, just has to mix up his windup and has the hesitations. Same with Johnny Cueto. That's a good example as well.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. And Antoine Jean has his second K of the night. And there's one gone here in the bottom of the second.
It just leaves the hitter thinking a little bit more than they need to, because not only do they have to worry about where the pitch is going to be thrown and things like that, but they have to get their timing right. And if you're consistent as a pitcher every single time, the hitter's going to get the timing right every time after that.
Here's Matt Goodhart, who watches a breaking ball come in for ball one. I love the motion that you see from Cueto. He rocks back and forth, and sometimes it's one rock, sometimes it's like 5 rocks. You never know what's coming as the 1-0 pitch is fouled over towards the Orleans dugout for the first strike in this at-bat. I feel like that's something that's really developed in MLB pitchers over the last couple of years. You often see guys have a set motion towards the plate as the 1-1 pitch is ripped out towards right field. Going back, Michael Curiali, and it's over his head as it's just past his glove, rounding first and heading in towards second. And losing his helmet is Matt Goodhart, who has his 6th base hit of the season. It's his 3rd double, and he's in with a 1-out double.
Well, before the game, Goodhart gets the call from Philadelphia, the Phillies, to sign him as he went undrafted. He signs the contract. He still wants to play tonight, and he gets a double here, ripping that. And Curiali took a little bit of a tough route and angle there to that ball. Instead of running back towards the gap and trying to find a spot where he thought it might be, he ran up towards it and kind of horizontally, and that allowed it to just get over his head with too much pace.
Curiali playing in his first game out in right tonight, so not nearly as used to that position here for Falmouth as the first pitch to David Marcano is outside for ball one. We've seen him play around the field for the Commodores. He's played in both center and left as well as up the middle infield for the Commodores, but first time out in right, and it showed on that ball as the second pitch of this at-bat to Marcano is outside, and now the count 2-0 here on the NJIT Highlander. Mentioned before, but the Marcanos, a set of twins here on this Orleans team, both of them from Katy, Texas, as the 2-0 pitch is cut on for strike one here on Marcano, and now the count 2-1. Marcano, David, playing in just his 3rd game of the season for Orleans, hitting 200 on the year. He's 1 for 5 at the plate, and he watches this pitch come in above the letters. Now the count 3-1 here in his favor. Orleans had a runner reach second back in the first. That was the leadoff man, Peyton Chatagnier, but he got no further than second. And right now, Matt Goodhart stands there as well as the 3-1 pitch is high and away, and a 5-pitch walk that's worked by David Marcano as he takes the trot down towards first. And so now runners on first and second here for the Firebirds.
This is where John needs to attack. At the bottom third of the order, you can't be allowing free passes, especially with a runner already on. If you want to hold this 4-0 lead, that's why this pitching staff has been so good on the road. They get leads early, and they run with it. So for him to buckle down now is what he needs to do with runners on.
That's the first walk allowed this season by Jean. And Corey Acton, the 8-hitter, watches strike one come in at the belt. Acton playing in his second game here for Orleans. Made his debut last night for the Firebirds, and an 0-for-3 showing for them as the 0-1, a breaking ball. Good stop by Taylor Smith as it was down in the dirt. And now the count runs even here on the Florida hitter. Acton, a Florida native through and through from Fort Lauderdale. Played his high school ball at American Heritage. And this past year hit .250 for the Gators in 60 total plate appearances over the course of 31 games. Jean set on the mound. Couple looks back towards second and now comes home with the 1-1. And it's fouled out of the glove of the catcher Taylor Smith. So the count 1-2 here now as the center field area is starting to get a little more foggy. Here, the visibility out to it is fine, but there's definitely some fog creeping in here. We've heard stories in the past of games, especially out here at these eastern ballparks, getting called due to fog as the 1-2 pitch comes in down in the dirt, and another good stop by Taylor Smith as the count runs even at 2-2.
Smith, the better defensive catcher of the two between him and Jonathan French. Although French had a major block last night with a tying run on third in the ninth, but had a pass ball and then allowed a wild pitch for the runner to get from first to third in that ninth inning.
Here's the 2-2 and slowly chopped over on the right side. Jean comes off the mound. Some confusion between him and Brennan Malone. Malone started to play it, and so nobody was at first. Jean takes it by himself, able to just beat out the speedy Corey Acton for the second out of this inning. Both runners advance, so Matt Goodhart now at third. David Marcano now at second, and there's two gone here in the bottom of the second.
Jean just so athletic, showing that athleticism there. Fielded it and then in stride runs straight to the bag and takes it himself. Not for a second did he think he was going to toss that, and that's why he's able to make that play so quickly.
Here's the 9-hitter Garrett Guillemette, who steps to the plate for the first time this evening and watches strike one come in at the belt. Guillemette hitting 143 on the season, the lowest average in this Orleans lineup. Went 0-for-3 last night with 3 flyouts in the ballgame, and the 0-1 fouled into the netting behind home plate. Now 0-2 here on the USC Trojan. Falmouth with a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. All 4 of those runs coming in the top half of the inning. As Jean comes home now with the pitch, and it's inside as Guillemette has to scoot his knees out of the way. And now the count 1-2 here on the right-handed hitter. Jean comes home now, and it bounces 5 feet in front of home plate. Another really good stop by Taylor Smith as the count now runs even 2-2 here on Guillemette. We've seen Taylor Smith make really good stop after really good stop here in this inning for Falmouth. He's helped prevent the base runners from advancing any further than they are and has helped keep the Firebirds off the board. Here comes John now with the 2-2 pitch, and it's ripped down the third base line, but foul. And so we'll do it all again. Guillemette steps back in the box, couple of taps of home plate. Jean looking for the final out here of the inning with runners on second and third. The Alabama pitcher has it. Now he comes home with the 2-2, and it's ripped out to left field. Going back is Luke Boyers. He's turning, and it's gone. Orleans crushes its league-leading 18th home run of the season as Garrett Guillemette has his third bomb of the year. Absolute nuke out to left center field. And all of a sudden, Orleans back in this ballgame as they trail by just 1. It's 4-3 Falmouth here in the bottom of the second. We mentioned before how deep the dimensions are at this field. That ball carried over the 350 fence over at left center field and just kept going and going. That's how much speed it had and power behind it. As Guillemette brings Orleans back within one. We go back to the top of the lineup here for Peyton Chatagnier, who watches ball one come inside at the knees.
Oh, that ball was absolutely rocketed off the bat by Guillemette. Just got a pitch to hit over the plate, kept his power behind him, and brought it all into that baseball.
Count now 1-1 on Chatagnier. Guillemette now has 5 hits on the season, and 3 of them are home runs. So he has some power behind that bat. And like I mentioned, Orleans up there in the league standings in home runs as the 1-1 pitch cut on and miss gets away from Taylor Smith, but nobody on, so it doesn't matter. Count now 1-2 here on Chatagnier.
Similar story for Falmouth's catcher, Taylor Smith. He's got 5 hits on the year, 3 of them home runs. Guillemette, the catcher for Orleans, matching that with 1 swing of the bat tonight.
So Chatagnier steps back into the box. And now the 1-2 delivery from the Alabama pitcher. It's a breaking ball, and it's fouled over towards the crowd on the right side. And the count remains 1-2 here on Peyton Chatagnier. Well, that's tough for Falmouth. After going up by 4 in the top half of the inning, and Jean had looked like he was pitching pretty well out there, but in the end, Guillemette just able to continue fighting, and in the end is able to get a pitch to go his way. As the 1-2 pitches up towards the chin of Chatagnier. Now the count 2-2 here on the Orleans Firebird. Chatagnier steps back into the box. He singled back in the first. One of 3 hits that Orleans has so far tonight, matching their total from last night. And he rips this pitch up the middle and through for a base hit as it's past Braden Taylor at second. He gave a dive towards his right for it, but unable to track it down. And so this inning just continues. Chatagnier with 2 singles to start off the ball game, and that brings up Luke Keischel.
Same spot that Chatagnier hit it his last time up, a rip right up the middle, and that's where he's been so successful all season long.
And before we can continue any further, pitching coach Mike Trundy is going to come out here and talk with pitcher. Excuse me, pitching coach Mike Landry, I should say. Getting the 2 coaches there for Falmouth mixed up as he comes out. Nobody warming up for Falmouth out in their bullpen. So right now this is all Antoine Jean on the mound, but he's given up 3 hits this inning to the Firebirds. He's given up 4 hits in the ball game. And the 3 hits he's given up this inning, a double, a home run, and a single. So Orleans seeing the ball well and able to capitalize on it.
Sean just leaving a couple of the last pitches over the plate, the heart of the plate. Got to start locating his spots better on the corners and at the letters and the knees.
So Landry takes the walk back towards the dugout, and now we're set to continue this inning with Falmouth leading by 4-3 over Orleans. And the first pitch to Luke Keischel is outside for ball 1 here on the San Francisco hitter. Peyton Chatagnier leads off of first after his single up the middle. And there's 2 gone here in the inning. From the stretch, Jean comes home. Chatagnier running on the pitch. Good throw from Taylor Smith. And they got Chatagnier out at second. Beautiful throw to end the inning by Taylor Smith and get Antoine Jean out of the inning, but not before Orleans able to bring home 3 runs on 1 swing. Garrett Guillemette goes yard for his 3rd home run of the season, and it's 4-3 Falmouth as we move to the 3rd here from Eldridge Park. All of a sudden, a different ball game as Thomas Schultz still on the mound here for Orleans. When he came off, it was a 4-0 lead as we went to the bottom of the second. He comes back on now for his third inning of the night, and it's a 4-3 lead here for the Commodores. So Firebirds right back in it as Anthony Hall will lead off the inning here for Falmouth. 5, 6, and 7 coming up for the Commodores after plating 4 runs back in the second. And Hall started off that scoring with he started off the inning with a walk and then able to come around and score the first run of the ball game for Falmouth. First pitch home to him, he fouls behind and into the trees across the street here from Eldridge Park. And so the count now 0-1 here on the Oregon Duck. Eldridge Park here borders up right along a road behind home plate as the second pitch that Hall sees, he drills out towards left center field. And it's gone. A no-doubter there from Anthony Hall. As the second pitch he sees, he turns on it and puts it in the exact same spot that Garrett Guillemette did back in the bottom of the second. Falmouth now up by 2 as it's 5-3 Commodores here in the top of the third.
Well, the difference between both of those, Guillemette, the right-handed hitter, pulls it 350 over the fence there. Anthony Hall, the left-handed hitter, taking it the other way, showing that he has that power to the opposite field. He's been hitting the ball all over the field so far this season, but finally showing the power the other way as well.
First pitch to Michael Curiali inside for ball 1. We mentioned this when Guillemette hit the home run. It was at the time the league leading 18th home run of the year for Orleans. Count now 1-1 here on Michael Curiali. But with Anthony Hall connecting on that ball, he now has 2 home runs on the season, and Falmouth with its 18th home run as Curiali fouls the ball off now 1-2. So these two teams, Matt said it in the pregame, we expected fireworks from them last night, the 2 highest scoring teams in the league. And last night combined for a 1-0 victory for Falmouth. But tonight, the runs are showing 8 combined runs already, and we're only in the top of the third.
Well, the cloud's just sitting heavy right now. Still easy to see the ball, but beyond the center field fence, it's a little bit foggy.
1-2 pitch, now 2-2 as Curiali lays off a ball outside.
And the lights are not the brightest. It's just kind of a weird atmosphere going on right now, but it hasn't affected the sight of the hitters.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to Curiali. He fans on it. It was down in the dirt, so he'll give a light run towards first, but he gets about 10 feet out of the box and pulls up. So that's the first out of the inning, and Curiali retired for the first time tonight. But going back to the fog, I was saying this before, but we've heard stories about Cape League games being called halfway through because the fog is so heavy, you can't see the rest of the field. And we've had a couple of foggy games this season, most notably up at Wareham. But tonight, it's really starting to come in here around the field as the first pitch to Jake Ducart is in for strike 1.
I don't think we're at the point yet where it is becoming a factor on the field, but beyond the fence and sort of towards the stands where you look out more, it's foggy.
Ducart lines this one into straightaway center. Going back is Chase DeLauder. He keeps running, and he finally is able to make the grab just a little bit before the fence out there. So a deep second out from Jake Ducart. Said this before, but it's 434 to straightaway center. So it's tough when you put a ball that far to get it to go. It gives a lot of room for the fielders, and DeLauder able to get to it.
I'll tell you what. He hits that anywhere else on the Cape, it's a home run by a lot. That probably about 5 to 8 steps being from the 434-foot fence. The only player, I heard an Orleans Firebird player saying this earlier, only player to ever homer dead center here, Frank Thomas, a Hall of Famer.
Brennan Malone grounds it to the right side. It's bobbled by the first baseman for Orleans in Tyler Locklear, but he's able to then collect it in time and flip it to his pitcher in Thomas Schultz. So that able to end the inning, but Anthony Hall connects on a long ball for his second home run of the season and puts Falmouth back up by 2. It's 5-3 Commodores here over Orleans as we move to the bottom of the third from Eldridge Park. Bottom of the third here from Eldridge Park, and Falmouth on top 5-3 over the Firebirds. David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for joining us here on an eerie Tuesday evening from Eldridge Park, as we're just about an hour into this ball game. Orleans bringing up 2, 3, and 4 here in the third. Luke Keishel was at the plate back in the second, but Peyton Chatinier was caught stealing to end the inning. In the first pitch that Keishel sees, he rips out towards right field. Going back, Curiali, and he looked like he that he misread the ball, but he's able to still come up with it and make the grab for the first out of the inning.
This is Curiali's first time out in right field this season. Has naturally looked better in the outfield than he has in the infield, but that's mostly been at left field. So out on the other side now in right. Has made a couple of plays out there. One he caught, the other was not able to catch up to, and that one he's able to line up, just went back towards his right a couple of steps and was able to line it up.
First pitch to Julio Marcano. He fouls down the third base side. And the count now 0-1 here on the NJIT hitter. Jean set, and now comes home with the 0-1, and it's a breaking ball outside, but cutting on it is Marcano. Now the count 0-2. Marcano digs back in, couple of twirls of the bat, and now Jean comes home with the pitch, and it's ripped up the middle, and it's going to fall in front of Boyers for a base hit. So already for Orleans, now with 5 base hits on the night after just 3 yesterday against the Commodores, and Marcano has his first of the night.
Well, I don't know if it's because of where we're situated here at Eldridge Park, but it seems like every single hit tonight has been ripped. That one hit so hard by Marcano and just right up the middle. That's what Orleans has been doing, hitting the ball right back up the middle every single time.
Here's the left-handed hitter, Chase DeLauder, with Marcano leading off of first. Jean from the stretch in the first pitch that DeLauder sees, he grounds over to Taylor at second. The flip to Colden at short, and then the throw over to first in time. Check that. Able to beat it out was Chase DeLauder. So they're able to get the lead man in Julio Marcano out at second, not able to get the out at first. And so now 2 gone here in the inning.
Really good turn from Braden Taylor at second. Just a little slow out of the glove for Cody Colden at short. Had that been probably his best turn, he would have had him, but just a little clutch of that glove when he was trying to turn it. Allowed the runner, DeLauder, to be safe.
Tyler Locklear watches ball 1 outside. We've seen this Falmouth middle infield get much better at turning double plays here over the last couple of weeks, but just unable to do so there. As the 1-0 pitch, again outside here on Locklear. Now the count 2-0 on the VCU Ram.
They've turned 10 double plays on the season so far, and 1 last night.
Now is ripped down the right field line, but foul as it finds its way into the crowd. And now the count 2-1.
And just to clarify, those are double plays turned on the ground. Some of what this defense has done is turn them through the air with a line drive or a fly ball and then thrown behind the runner who was too far off the bag.
Now from Jean. Outside and 3-1. And it's been part of the reason that Falmouth has gotten much better with its defense as a whole. At one point this season, Falmouth led the league in errors, but they've really trimmed those back. Haven't posted an error in their last 4 games. Check that, actually 5 games. So they've done a really good job of cleaning things up on that front as Tyler Locklear with a walk. And so he goes down to first. Now moving to second is Chase DeLauder. And there's runners on first and second for Matt Goodhart. Goodhart doubled back in the second as the first pitch comes home from Jean. Just able to catch the outside corner of the plate for strike 1. Goodhart was the first guy to reach and one of the guys to score on that 3-run bomb from Garrett Guillemette. Fogg continuing to roll in here from right center field as the 0-1 pitch home to Goodhart is down in the dirt for ball one here on the left-handed hitter. Luke Boyer is out in center field. He's visible, but he's definitely a little more faint than you'd have on a clear night. And Matt mentioned it before, but the lights here with the fog around them, just a really eerie feeling as Jean started the move towards home and now looks back towards second as DeLauder back in. DeLauder leads off of second, leading off of first. Tyler Locklear here in a 5-3 ball game for Falmouth over Orleans in the bottom of the third. Jean comes home with the pitch, swing and a miss on Goodhart, and now the count runs to 1-2 here with 2 outs in the inning. Jean tonight has 2 Ks, trying to get a third one here on the Arkansas Razorback, and now Philadelphia Philly with him signing with the team earlier today. The 1-2 pitch is a breaking ball outside, now 2-2. So that's got to be real interesting. You sign with the Phillies today, but you still choose to play for Orleans. So I guess you could officially say he's now a professional player in the Cape Cod League.
It's a collegiate baseball league, but he's a pro now. Who let that happen?
We'll have to check the rule book on that one. It's the 2-2 pitch from Jean down in the dirt on a breaking ball, and now the count full.
Maybe you're eligible until you play your first professional game. But we'd have to look back to see if this same situation has ever happened before. Have to assume it hasn't because the MLB draft is always later in the year.
And we're going to get to some of those Commodores who were drafted a little bit later in this ball game as Jean looks back towards third again, or towards second for DeLauder. No throw, but just keeping him close to the bag. Count full here on Matt Goodhart. Here on the bottom of the third, 2 outs in the inning and a runner on first and second. Jean comes set, holds the ball letter high, now comes home with a breaking ball, and he's able to get Goodhart to go down swinging as Jean picks up his 3rd strikeout of the night and is able to preserve the 5-3 lead for Falmouth. As we move to the 4th, and Matt will take over on play-by-play when we come back from Eldridge Park.
Commodores take a 5-3 lead into the 4th inning as we head into the top of the 4th here from Eldridge Park. Matt Levine alongside my broadcast partner David Hadar. And the Commodores scoring 4 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. They come in here in the 4th now with a new pitcher that they'll have to face. Jack Philby out of UCLA making his 6th appearance of the season. Has a record of 2-1 with a 9.39 ERA through 5 appearances. 7 2/3, 11 hits, 5 walks, and 9 Ks. And the day closed on Thomas Schultz out of Vanderbilt, who really got roughed up in his first Cape start.
He sure did. I mean, only 3 innings pitched, gave up 5 runs, 4 of those coming in the second. And he had 6 strikeouts, but Falmouth just did a really good job of putting good pitches into play and finding the gaps. And so able to bring home 6 hits on him and knock him out early.
First pitch breaking ball from Philby goes in for a strike on Cody Colden. Colden had an RBI double back in the second. And the 0-1 pitch. Fastball lined foul to the right side. Really late on the fastball was Colden, and now it's 0-2. Mix of speed on the first pitch breaking ball and then a 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Philby. To make 0-2 on Colden.
And Philby, a guy who's been roughed up in his outings. You mentioned that 9.39 ERA. In all but one of his outings this season, he's given up runs. So he's trying to just keep Orleans in it.
0-2. Colden flies it out into shallow center. DeLauder comes in, slides, and makes the grab in shallow center. So Cody Colden almost finding a little bit of grass in the outfield for the second time tonight, but DeLauder gets the better of him with the defense.
Well, things becoming a little bit tougher now to field. We keep talking about the fog, but it's now starting to drizzle here a bit at Eldridge Park. It's still pretty much just a mist, but the rain is a bit heavier than the players certainly would like, and it just makes trying to track those balls that much tougher.
So here's the top of the order in Luke Boyers back up for the 3rd time tonight. And the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike with a fastball. It's 0-1. Boyers 1 for 2 tonight. A single in the first, right back up the middle, stole second. Struck out swinging his last time up in the second inning. The 0-1 bounced in there, and a good pick by Guillemette makes it 1-1. So in Philby's last outing at Hyannis on July 8th, he picked up the win in an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. Boyers grounds the 1-1 up to second base. Chatinier fields, and the running throw to first is in time for the out. And quickly 2 away here in the 4th inning.
Well, this has been a different inning already for Falmouth. In each of the first 3 innings, able to get the leadoff man on in some form and then capitalize off of that. But here this inning, Philby working through the Commodores lineup pretty quickly. A fly out and then a ground out just moments ago from Boyer. So 2 quick outs is what the Orleans Firebirds trying to get here from this Falmouth side.
So here's Braden Taylor 0 for 2, swings at the first pitch and flies it foul out of play. 0-1 the count to the TCU product. Flied out to center, his first time up, struck out looking back in the second. And behind in the count 0-1. Out of the windup, Philby deals. Fastball high and away to Taylor, and now it's 1-1. Low 90s with the fastball for Philby. Also has that curveball that he's thrown a couple of times. 1-1. And the fastball misses low and away, and now it's 2-1 to Taylor.
Taylor tonight, one of the only guys in this Commodore lineup to not reach base, and that's rare for him. He's a guy who's reached base in all but 2 games for Falmouth this season.
2-1 pitch. Changeup misses away. 3-1 now the count to Taylor.
The only other guy who hasn't reached base, Taylor Smith. So 2 of them still looking to reach for the first time tonight. And Taylor trying to do it here and extend the inning.
Philby, a 2-way player for UCLA on the mound. And the 3-1, driven high in the air into right field. Going back to right fielder Goodhart. That is carrying, and at the wall is Goodhart. He looks up, and that is gone. Braden Taylor with a solo home run with 2 outs here in the 4th makes it 6-3 Falmouth. A ball that just kept carrying over the wall in right field. And Braden Taylor hits his 2nd homer of the season. And now it's 6-3 Commodores.
That ball off the bat just looked like a routine fly ball from Taylor, and it just kept going and going. And we mentioned earlier, it's not too deep down the lines, and it's really once you get more towards center where the fence juts out. So Taylor capitalized on that and puts Falmouth now up by 3.
First pitch to Jace Borfin was a strike. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball, heavy swing from Borfin. He swings over it. Now he's behind 0-2. That ball kept going and going. Off the bat, had a little bit of a charge from Taylor. Got a pitch to hit, belt high, and did some damage with it. 0-2. Borfin takes low and away, and now it's 1-2.
This mist here at Eldridge Park continuing Again, just making things a little bit tougher here for the fielders when they look up into the sky for a fly ball.
1-2 breaking ball. Don't know where it missed, but it's a ball. It's 2-2. Right down the middle, at least it looked like when it was caught by the catcher Guillemette. Might have crossed the plate a little bit high. And now the fastball misses low to make it a full count. 3-2 the count now with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th and a 6-3 lead for the Commodores. Philby working out of the windup. Payoff pitch. Driven out into left center field. Ranging over is the left fielder Marcano, and he makes the catch as DeLauder, the center fielder, slides behind him. It was the left fielder Marcano hurling it into his glove, but Braden Taylor delivers a solo home run, his 2nd homer of the season, which is the difference once again. Now it's 6-3 Falmouth as we head into the bottom of the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th, 6-3 Commodores after 2 straight innings of just a solo home run. 4 runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 3 runs in the 2nd for Orleans. Makes it 6-3. Levi Wells now on the mound out of Texas Tech for the Commodores after 3 decent innings, 2 really solid innings, but the 2nd inning for Antoine Jean was a little bit of a struggle. Other than that, was pretty solid tonight.
He was, and, you know, his first 2 starts now of the season for Falmouth, I think we could classify as decent. He's given Falmouth, you know, the advantage that they've needed in terms of run support, and so now it's up to the bullpen to try and hold this off.
David Marcano, the shortstop, leads things off and takes a first pitch over the plate for a strike. Wells making his 5th appearance on the season, the 0-1 pitch. Hard fastball, gets a swing and a miss, and now it's 0-2. His last appearance was July 7th at Bourne. He got the loss in that outing. Went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. That's his only decision on the year through his 4 outings so far. 0-2 pitch. Fastball right down the middle and got Marcano looking. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, the first strikeout of the night and the first batter that he faces for Levi Wells.
Not a bad way to come out of the pen, and after struggling in that last outing at Bourne back on Wednesday, to come out here and start things off with commanding fashion with that strikeout, that's good to see from Wells, who's erasing that last outing from his mind.
First pitch to Corey Acton. Misses away for a ball. It's 1-0. Acton grounded out to Antoine Jean his first time up, and Jean took that to the bag himself. Out of the windup, the 1-0 pitch from Wells. Fastball misses inside. And Acton now ahead 2-0. Acton, the sophomore infielder from the University of Florida. Batted .250 on the year with the Gators in 2021. 2-0 pitch. Elevated fastball misses upstairs. And quickly 3-0 on Corey Acton.
We're going to have to figure out if the mustache is starting to become a trend on this Falmouth team. I've already seen tonight a few guys with a mustache, including Levi Wells. This is a new thing for this team.
3-0 pitch, missed inside, and Corey Acton works a 1-out walk. Now, I'll tell you why it's so visible through this fog. Before the game, while waiting for all of our COVID tests, the Tier 1 individuals, players, coaches, media, whoever, Levi Wells is putting mascara on his facial hair to darken it so that it's more visible. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but
you just ratted him out.
I had to. I mean, that's what Levi did. A couple of the guys were doing that. I guess I won't say who else unless they come into the game, but it was pretty funny to watch. Big swing and a miss at the first pitch for Guillemette. He's behind 0-1.
Needless to say, though, that we're going to have to ask the guys just in general if this mustache is starting to become a trend. Brendan Malone at first also has a pretty noticeable one, too. He may be able to grow the facial hair, but there's other guys, too, that have them.
Guillemette hit a 3-run homer his first time up, and the 0-1 pitch right at the knees misses low to make it 1-1. Now, I came into the day thinking that it might be because Trey McLaughlin usually wears a mustache, and he was drafted today by the Mets in the 16th round of the 2021 MLB draft. He's still with the team currently tonight, but have to find out if that's the real answer for all the mustaches going on. Set on the mound at the belt is Wells. The 1-1 pitch. Guillemette takes at the letters for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Maybe now that they have that first home win, we can ask them they shouldn't shave them again.
They might have to wear the black jerseys every single game at home now, too.
That, too, yeah.
But whatever they did yesterday, they're going to have to do every single home game for the rest of the way. This being the first game of the second half of the season already. Hard to believe because of the 4 rainouts that we had. As Wells sets, and the 1-2 as the runner takes off. It's fouled on a breaking ball just off the end of the bat. Guillemette was able to get a piece. And going back to first will be Corey Acton.
Well, we've seen on both sides tonight the hit and run has been on, and these are teams that we keep saying it, but the offense is there, and tonight they're really showing that off with already a combined 8 runs in the ball game. Actually, now 9 runs in the ball game after the Braden Taylor home run. So these guys trying to find ways to get into scoring position, but unable to do so there with the foul ball.
The count 1-2 on Guillemette, who put a charge into one his first time up. The Southern California catcher. 1-2 pitch, runner stays, and the fastball misses high to make it 2-2. So Acton was running on the previous pitch, now stays, but the count 2-2. We'll see if he tries to go again. Braden Taylor, the second baseman, pinched well up the middle. Colden with a right-handed hitter up. Plays a little bit in the hole. A little to the left of double play depth, or his right. 2-2 pitch. High fastball, got a swing and a miss from Guillemette. Now there's 2 down with 2 strikeouts from Wells.
Well, we saw 3 strikeouts in all 3 innings from Jean, but Levi Wells so far has picked up both outs this inning via the K, and despite a walk given up to Corey Acton, he's been flawless otherwise. He's had really good command of his pitches so far. Good job finding the zone and able to get a couple of quick outs here on Falmouth.
Top of the order back up. Third time tonight, Chatinier stands in. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Both of them hit on a line right back up the middle. And Wells sets at the belt. 6-3 Falmouth here in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs and a runner on first. And Wells will take a pickoff attempt over to first, but Acton dives in safely. Brendan Malone playing at first base after Chris Armstrong is a late scratch tonight. Ducard at third, Colden at shortstop, Taylor at second, all at normal depth. And the first pitch to Chatinier misses high from Wells. And now it's 1-0. Wells talking to himself on the mound, motioning with his hands to get that ball down just a little bit. Now with the sun setting as well, it's really tough to see beyond the outfield. So we'll see if that brings in any sort of issues on the field. as the 1-0 fastball crosses at the belt, and now it's 1-1.
Fortunately, though, the drizzle we had here, more of a mist you could call it, has let up. So right now the fog, the only thing weather-wise in the area, but no precipitation, which means well.
2 strikeouts in the inning and just a walk so far for Levi Wells. 1-1 pitch to Chatagnier. High fastball, but he fouled it off into the netting behind home plate. And Wells is ahead 1-2. His fastball's been sitting at 92 and 91 miles an hour tonight. And has gone to the breaking ball just a couple of times, but really living with the fastball. Commodores have the day off tomorrow. And then the rest of the way, their day offs will all be on Thursdays. This is the only day off that comes on a Wednesday for the Commodores this season. Set on the mound at the belt is Wells, the 1-2. Breaking ball, grounded to the left side. Slow hopper for Colden. He fields the running throw. And a beautiful play by the shortstop from Washington State ends the inning. Levi Wells issues a walk, but strikes out 2. And Orleans strands a runner on as we head to the 5th. It's 6-3 Commodores here from Eldridge Park. To the 5th inning here at Eldridge Park, Taylor Smith will lead things off. Anthony Hall behind him, and then Michael Curiali will get set to face up against Philby, his college teammate at UCLA. Taylor Smith tonight 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, 1 swinging, 1 looking. So he looks to reach base. The only hitter in the lineup that has not done so far tonight. First pitch, he swings through a changeup on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. 6-3 Commodores, 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors. 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors for the Firebirds. As the sky comes a little bit darker than the start of the game, and the fog a little bit heavier as well. A 1 pitch from Philby. Misses low and in to Smith. Another changeup, and now it's 1-1.
This is easily the heaviest fog of the season we've seen, and keeping our fingers crossed it doesn't get any worse, because these two teams, second meeting of the year and first here, was supposed to have one on Saturday. Certainly don't want to have another one called tonight.
Curveball misses in the dirt. Now it's 2-1 to Taylor Smith. Smith already 3 homers on the season. Has shown a lot of power as he grounds a 2-1 to the left side. Third baseman Acton fields. High throw, but staying down on the bag is Locklear at first to complete the 5-3 ground out.
Well, Smith now still the only guy to not reach base tonight for Falmouth. A good play there by Acton. You mentioned it earlier, Matt, but the infield and really the whole field tonight just really slow. Any ball that's in the ground has really slowed up through the grass, and it doesn't travel too far. So it means that the fielders have to be a little bit quicker with both their fielding and their throws, and Acton able to handle that there.
Hall takes the first pitch on the corner for a strikeout side with a curveball. Ahead 0-1 is Philby. Tonight, Anthony Hall's 1 for 1 with a solo home run, and then he walked and scored back in the second. 0-1, big hack at the changeup on the outside corner. Now it's 1-1, or rather 0-2. Hall behind 0-2. Opposite field solo home run his last time up, as the infield and outfield plays at normal depth. 0-2 pitch. Curveball's just fouled off. And staying alive is the Oregon Duck. Philby, the junior out of UCLA, 6 foot, 195 pounds on the mound. Made 7 appearances on the mound for the Bruins in 2021, 36 games and 11 starts as an infielder, as the 0-2 fastball misses way high. 7 appearances on the mound, went 0-0 with a 9 ERA, 7 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss at the fastball, and the helmet comes off for Anthony Hall, and now there's 2 down.
Well, it's been interesting so far tonight. Both of the relievers have been really good after the starters have gotten roughed up. So these guys able to, in terms of the relievers, able to handle the guys they're facing so far and keep the offense a bit more minimal on both sides.
2 outs here in the top of the 5th as Curiali, the UCLA Bruin, stands in against Philby, the UCLA Bruin. Curveball, the first pitch at the knees, is a strike, and it's 0-1.
These are the times that I think summer ball is just so cool, is when you get college teammate versus college teammate out there.
0-1 curveball again, right at the knees for a strike. It's 0-2 on Curiali. Well, Curiali has struggled just a little bit hitting the breaking ball so far this season. It might be that something his teammate from college knows a little bit about. 3 straight curveballs. This one misses out of the zone for a ball. It's 1-2. Curiali tonight, a single and a run in the second, struck out swinging back in the third. That's here with nobody on and 2 outs in the 5th. 1-2. Curveball, grounded right back up to Philby, the pitcher. Underhand toss to first after a couple steps towards the bag, and that completes the 1-3 ground out. A 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight for the Orleans pitching staff. And we head into the bottom of the 5th, halfway through. It's 6-3 Commodores. To the bottom of the 5th, Orleans coming to bat with 2, 3, and 4 due up. Keishel leads off, and he's 0 for 2 tonight. It's 6-3 Falmouth, and they went scoreless for the first time in the top of the 5th since the first inning. They scored in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Orleans only scored tonight in the 2nd. Levi Wells still on the mound through an inning so far. As Keishel stands in, righty-righty matchup. First pitch out of the windup. Breaking ball misses away, and now it's 1-0 on Keishel. This fog really playing a factor now. Tough to see some of the outfielders on the field. The bullpen as well beyond the right center field wall for Orleans. 1-0 pitch. Keishel takes high and away, and now it's 2-0.
Keeping it in right field. I can barely see Michael Curiali out there. Any ball hit to him, it's going to be really interesting to see how he plays it.
So Wells behind in the count, 2-0. And here's the pitch. This is upstairs, now 3-0. Keishel 0 for 2 tonight, and now ahead in the count, 3-0. 3-0 pitch. Fastball misses high and inside, and a 4-pitch walk to start off the 5th.
Well, overall, Levi Wells so far has faced 5 batters, and 3 of them he's been able to set down, but the 2 that he hasn't have been via walks. And what that's telling me, not only have they been walks, but they've also been quick walks. So just with a couple of guys tonight, just hasn't really been able to find that spot. But, you know, he comes out here after a brief inning of rest and just starts things off. We'll see how he responds here with Marcano, trying to find that command.
Marcano stands in. 1 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and a single. Runner on first and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch high for a ball. And now 5 straight balls to start this inning for Levi Wells. Wells, the freshman out of Texas Tech. 17 appearances in 2021, all out of the bullpen. Had a 1-0 record for the Red Raiders. And the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Check swing and went through it. Did Marcano. Now it's 1-1. 1-1 the count. 6-3 Commodores lead here in the 5th. Small lead off first for Keishel. Extends it when Wells comes set. 1-1. And it hits hard off the shoulder of Marcano, maybe in the rib area. And he'll take a slow trip down to first. Wells is thinking that hit the knob of the bat. But now there's runners on first and second after a walk and a hit by pitch and nobody out.
Yeah, Wells turned towards his dugout, and he's shaking his head, saying that never hit Marcano. The way Marcano's acting, I mean, that hit him. And we heard a loud thud. I guess theoretically it could be the bat, but just the way with Marcano's acting, and now the trainer's out there to check on him, I have a feeling that got a piece of him. I think it may have been more in the hand area because that is what he's flexing right now. Is his left hand with the athletic trainer for Orleans. But nonetheless, that was a ball that was rocketed into him, and that's one of the toughest spots to get hit by a ball because there's no muscle there. It's all bone, and so it's just a high-heat fastball right to the bone, and it really hurts for these guys, and any guy for that matter.
Marcano taking a long time in between home and first right now with the trainer for Orleans and Kelly Nicholson, the manager. Whether he stays in the game or not, we'll see, but Levi Wells stands behind the mound. Kicking some dirt, cleaning his spikes a little bit as the mound remains to be heavy. Just a tough way to get hit. Never want to be hit in the wrist or hand area, and that's exactly where it got Marcano. Immediately dropped the bat down and was shaking out that left hand. And still being looked at. They're going to leave him in. Nicholson, the manager, gives him a little pat on the chest, and Marcano walks to first base slowly. So runners on first and second, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th, and the tying run now comes up to the plate in the dangerous 4-hitter Chase DeLauder.
Well, Wells has to get some of that command back after a good first inning from him back in the 4th. Comes out here, and this is an opportunity for him to try and at least get a double play ball, get a couple of outs here in the inning. At a minimum, need to get one because we've already seen Falmouth's bullpen blow leads this season, and this is not the time they want to do it.
Runners on first and second, no outs. First pitch to DeLauder. The fastball misses high and away to be 1-0. DeLauder lined out to shortstop his first time up, grounded into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2. Leading off second is Keishel after the walk, and on first is Marcano after the hit by pitch. Ducart, the third baseman, plays a couple of steps behind the bag and off the line with the left-handed hitter. 1-0 pitch. On the outside corner with a fastball, and it's 1-1. Wells took just a little bit off that fastball to locate it better. Has been overthrowing just a little bit in this inning, which is forcing him to miss the zone. First baseman Malone playing behind the runner Marcano at first, so he's got a really big lead. As Colden, the shortstop, holds the runner on at second. 1-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner again, and now it's 1-2. Well, Levi Wells showing that he's most comfortable with the fastball. Has thrown that a tremendous amount over the course of his inning and plus of work. 1-2 pitch to DeLauder. Is waved at and fouled away to the left side and out of play. So the count remains 1-2. This fog is just, this is the worst it's been all night. Tough to see Curiali in right. Can barely see Luke Boyers in center. And when does it become an issue for the cutoff men that try to go out there and cut a ball off from their outfielders? Wells is set at the belt. Looks a long look at second. Colden goes away and fields his position. Now the pitch comes in, and it's high and away. It's 2-2.
Well, for the cutoff men, I mean, they'll be closer to the fielder, so they won't have as much trouble. But I'm really curious to see when a ball is put into play into the outfield, how the outfielders respond, because with how heavy the fog is right now, we still haven't seen a ball hit into the outfield. So those guys haven't had to react. But when a ball is hit that way, it's going to be really interesting to see how they track it.
2-2 pitch. Curveball misses low and away, and now it's a full count. And Wells just missing, trying to get DeLauder to chase, but the Firebird did not. Count runs full with nobody out and 2 runners on base.
DeLauder almost did chase at it. He started to go, but just mere moments later, able to keep that bat back.
Commodores with a 3-run lead, the tying run at the plate. 3-2 pitch, and the fastball misses high and away, and Wells has walked the second hitter of the inning. The other reached on a hit by pitch, and the bases are loaded with no outs.
It's tough for us to see whether or not there's somebody warming up out in the bullpen for Falmouth. I do think there is an arm up out there, but nonetheless, Jake Ducart now going to go talk with his pitcher, and here comes Mike Landry out of the dugout for Falmouth.
Well, something that Wells visibly deals with is frustration when he gets in situations like this. His body language can show on the mound. After walking DeLauder, he released some kind of just yell and frustration look towards his dugout. But now Ducart, the third baseman, Taylor Smith, the catcher, and Wells, the pitcher, meet with Mike Landry, the pitching coach, on the mound.
And that frustration he has can do one of 2 different things when he pitches. I mean, it can, one, affect his command and make him even more frustrated because he's so focused on what he's done before that he's too frustrated to get pitches across how he needs them to. But at the same time, for other guys, it can fire them up. So a long talk here from Mike Landry. They're going to leave Wells in and try and let him get out of the jam that he's worked into. But it's going to be really interesting to see how he responds after giving up a walk, a hit by pitch, and another walk here to Orleans.
Long meeting for Mike Landry, probably to extend some time for whoever's down in the bullpen warming up to get warm. So nobody out, the bases loaded, all 3 reached on a free pass. Now the 5-hitter Tyler Locklear stands in 0 for 1 with a walk tonight and a strikeout. Commodores lead by 3, so the tying run now on first base. Go-ahead run at the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Wells will go out of the stretch with the bases loaded and no outs. And he comes set at the belt. First pitch to Locklear. Fastball swung at, broken bat, drifting into right field, shallow. Diving in right field is Curiali, and he makes the catch and immediately throws a strike to the plate so that the runner on third, Keishel, has to stay put. Well, we were thinking how the outfielders would react to a fly ball with all this fog, and Curiali makes the play of the night so far. So now there's 1 out and the bases loaded.
What a play there by Michael Curiali out in right field. He has struggled at times tonight to field the ball and read it, but he makes no issue with that ball. And then the throw to home afterwards, there was no advancement of the runners, but the throw that he was able to unleash on the dot to Taylor Smith, and all around, a solid play to get that first big out here for Levi Wells.
So here's Matt Goodhart, and takes a big hack and tips it into the glove on the first pitch, as Taylor Smith able to squeeze it. It's 0-1. 1 for 2 with a double and a run tonight. Struck out his last time up. But Curiale with the cerebral play to slide and make the catch, then stand up and throw it all the way to home so that the runner Keishel couldn't tag up. And his throw is accurate as well. So now there's 1 out and the bases loaded. 0-1 pitch. Misses away with a fastball. Now it's 1-1. That was a broken bat, sort of a blooper off the bat of Locklear. The barrel went flying out of play to the left side. Bat nearly split in half. And he almost got it to go his way in shallow right field. 6-3 Falmouth here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 down and the bases loaded. 1-1 pitch. On the outside corner with the changeup, it's a strike, and it's 1-2. Really good pitch from Levi Wells there. Goodhart playing in tonight's game after signing with the Philadelphia Phillies organization, undrafted tonight. Behind in the count, 1-2 with the bases loaded, down 3 runs. Here's the pitch. Popped up to the left side and foul. And we'll stay at 1-2. The infield plays back, up 3 runs, albeit a force at the plate. Middle infield looking to turn a double play to get out of the inning, but the corners play well behind the bags. Ducart behind third and Malone behind first. Coming set on the mound is Wells. And the 1-2 pitch again to Goodhart. Curveball upstairs, but it's a strike at the letters. And Wells is all smiles after that. And now there's 2 down and the bases are still loaded.
Phenomenal response here from Levi Wells. First, you get the pop out from Tyler Locklear, and now you get Matt Goodhart to go down looking on a really well-placed pitch. That ball was on the upper part of the strike zone, but it was just in there enough to be called a strike by the home plate umpire. So you pick up the K there, and now 2 outs here in the inning, and that's big because just any ball that you can get out on gets out of the jam.
Marcano stands in 0 for 1 with a walk and a run. And he takes the first pitch high and away from Wells at 91 miles an hour. It's 1-0. So Levi Wells, after 2 walks and a hit by pitch, the bases become loaded. Not in that order. It was a walk, a hit by pitch, and then another walk. Gets a mound visit, gets help from his right fielder, Michael Curiale, and then strikes out the very next hitter. So there's 2 down. 1-0 pitch. Marcano takes outside and low. Now it's 2-0. Keishel on third. Marcano, Julio that is, on second. Chase DeLauder on first. David Marcano the hitter. Here at the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. Wells set at the belt. Kicks and deals the 2-0. Swing, and it missed right into the glove of Taylor Smith to make it 2-1. Behind on the fastball was David Marcano. The senior infielder out of NJIT. Team that played in the Fayetteville Regional with Arkansas, Northeastern, and Nebraska in the 2021 NCAA tournament. 2-1. Marcano swings right through the fastball again. He's well late, and it's 2-2. And all of a sudden, Levi Wells is a strike away, getting out of this inning unscathed.
Marcano giving some big hacks. His helmet has kind of shifted on both of the swings that he's given. Really wants to drive that ball, but has been late on the 2 pitches he swung at, and has to try and time that up with Levi Wells.
2-2 with 2 outs and the bases loaded, but Wells is going to step off the mound first. He adjusts his cap and now stands in as some of the fans get engaged. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 2-2 count to David Marcano, and a 3-run lead for Falmouth as Levi Wells comes set. 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses high, and Wells frustrated with himself, but now the count's full. And now it'll be a merry-go-round as all 3 runners will take off on the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. In the bottom of the 5th inning, it's 6-3 Commodores. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, and a good block by Smith, but it's ball 4. So a run will come in in Lukeishel. It's now 6-4.
Well, Wells was able to battle and get the first couple of outs in this inning, but those first 3 runners he allowed on just come back to haunt him as he gives off the walk to Marcano. Wells was in that at-bat, and he had a 2-2 count on him, but just couldn't locate those last couple of pitches. And Marcano able to work the walk in a really strong at-bat. And so Orleans back within 2 now on the Commodores.
So now it's 6-4, tying run in scoring position at second. And the hitter is Corey Acton. First pitch to Acton. Swing and a miss at another fastball that Wells has really been locating when it's in the zone for a swing and a miss. If not, he's missing high, which shows you he's overthrown just a little bit. But he's ahead 0-1. Corey Acton tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. Grounded out to Antoine Jean, the pitcher who started. 0-1. Hit high in the air into left field. Anthony Hall ranges over towards his right. And it's in foul territory, and it lands foul. Tough to see from our angle as the Commodores dugout on the third base side is blocking all of our view of the left fielder, Anthony Hall. But able to see that go foul. Now it's 0-2 after the loud strike.
Yeah, I lost that ball. I don't even know. I didn't see where it went, but the home plate umpire saying it was a foul ball. So now the count here 0-2 here. So another opportunity of this jam with just one run across, and the Commodores still up by 2.
So Acton behind in the count 0-2 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 6-4 Commodores with the tying run on second. Acton, the 8-hitter in the order tonight, as Wells comes set on the mound looking to get out of this inning with just 1 run of damage. Here's the 0-2, and the fastball missed high to make it 1-2. A really long inning for Levi Wells here. Have to think that the coaching staff for the Commodores wants to leave him in to finish this mess himself. You can learn a lot as a pitcher developing at this level by finishing the jam that you created. 1-2. Curveball, outside corner. Acton checked his swing. It did not go around, so it's 2-2.
I don't think he went around, but that's a tough ball for the umpire to read because the third base umpire currently shifted over towards second because of the way that the fielders are on here. So there's not a clear look down the baseline as to whether or not he went around. I don't think he did, but nonetheless, now the count even here for him.
2-2 with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Here's the pitch from Wells. Just missed off the outside corner with an off-speed pitch, and now it's a full count. So he got ahead 0-2. Now he falls behind. It's 3-2 with 2 outs. Marcano, Julio on third. DeLauder on second. David Marcano on first. So the brothers are on the corners right now. And the hitter, Corey Acton. 3-2 with 2 outs. Popped up, and it goes foul behind and over the road into the bushes behind the backstop. Count stays full, and the merry-go-round will run once again. 3-2 with 2 outs. All the runners forced, so they'll run on the pitch once again. In a 6-4 ball game. 6 runs on 7 hits for Falmouth, 4 runs on 5 hits for Orleans. Levi Wells is set. Payoff pitch with 2 outs. Lined foul to the left side. That goes directly into the road. No oncoming traffic over there, but the count stays full. And the runners retreat back to run the merry-go-round again.
Well, we're still waiting the decision of this at-bat, but Corey Acton has put together a really solid at-bat. Both he and Marcano, really good jobs here at the plate to fight off pitches, stay alive, and really make Wells work.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a full count. Here's the pitch again. Fastball, strike 3 on the outside corner. Acton thought it was ball 4. And the third base coach, Jamie Quinn, is giving it to Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire. That's the most visible frustration we've seen from any coach in the league up to this point in a Falmouth Commodores game. But Levi Wells gets into a jam and only gives up 1 run. And now it's 6-4 Commodores as we head into the 6th inning.
Back from Eldridge Park, where Falmouth is on top over Orleans by a score of 6-4 as we move into the 6th. Falmouth coming back to the plate with Jake Ducart leading things off. 7, 8, and 9 set to come up here for the visiting side, and Jack Philby is still on the mound for the Firebirds as he works into his 3rd inning of the night. Falmouth with 4 runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th to get these 6 runs here on the night. And the first pitch from the UCLA Bruin in Philby is down in the dirt here on Ducart. Ducart 1 for 2 tonight with a single back in the 2nd that ended up scoring Anthony Hall. And then he popped out to center in his last at-bat. This one is lined into center field, and it's going to fall in front of Chase DeLauder. So the leadoff man aboard here for Falmouth yet again tonight. That's now the 4th time this evening that the Commodores have put the leadoff man on base. And so Ducart starts things off with a single, and that'll bring up Brennan Malone now. Malone, another guy who's 1 for 2 on the night, and before Malone can step in, the entire infield going to come in, and head coach Kelly Nicholson is going to come out for the Firebirds. And it looks like Orleans is going to be making a change. So they brought Philby out for his 3rd inning here against the Commodores. His longest outing on the season was 2 2/3, and he's already through 2 innings tonight, but not sure if they're going to let him continue. A pitcher has come in from the bullpen. Philby is still on the mound with Kelly Nicholson, and now the new pitcher has reached the bump, and that's going to officially do the day as Jack Philby hands off the ball to Kelly Nicholson, and Kelly Nicholson gives it to the new reliever for Orleans in Connor Housley. So we're going to step aside here, and we'll bring you Housley's numbers when we come back from Eldridge Park. Falmouth on top 6-4 here in the 6th over Orleans. Connor Housley, the new pitcher for Orleans, as we welcome you back into Eldridge Park with Falmouth already plating a base runner here in the top of the 6th. Jake Ducart starting off the inning with a leadoff single. And so that now brings up Brennan Malone for Falmouth here with Housley on the mound. Housley making his 6th appearance of the season for Orleans, has been real solid out of the bullpen. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts to his name, has only given up 3 hits on the season, and an ERA of 1.8. He hasn't allowed a single run in his last 4 outings, and he comes on here, and the first pitch dealt to Brennan Malone is a ball down and away here to the South Carolina Gamecock. So Ducart started off the inning with a single when Jack Philby was on the mound, and that was all for Philby. And the second pitch that Malone sees, he grounds on 2 hops over to Corey Acton at third. He dives to his left to try and stop that ball, but he's unable to as it finds its way into left field. So back-to-back singles to start off this inning for Falmouth, and they have the first 2 base runners aboard. Here's the 9-hitter Cody Colden, who ripped a double in his first at-bat of the night that ended up scoring Jake Ducart and then popped out to center in his last at-bat. Colden's bat getting a little hotter here over these last couple of days As the first pitch that Colden sees, he shows bump and then pulls back as that ball was outside. And so count 1-0 here on Colden. Colden yesterday drove home the only base hit of the ball game as he had a double that plated Brennan Malone. And Falmouth went on to take down the Firebirds by a score of 1-0 back in Falmouth. As now the 1-0 pitch from Housley. Again, Colden shows bunt, and again he pulls back on a ball that's low and outside. So now 2-0 here on the Washington State Cougar. Falmouth on top by a score of 6-4 here in the only game this season at Eldridge Park. As Housley with a look back towards second, and now the reliever comes home. Another pitch in that Colden shows bunt at, and this one is a called strike after Colden pulled his bat back. So 2-1 here now on the right-handed hitter. He's shown bunt on all 3 pitches, but yet to make any contact with the ball. As Housley set, holds the ball belt high, a quick look towards second, and now comes home. Colden shows bunt, but this ball low and inside. Now 3-1 here on Colden. Falmouth's big inning tonight was back in the second when the Commodores brought across 4 runs. And tonight in this inning, getting the first 2 guys on, and Colden trying to extend that. As the 3-1 pitch comes home, Colden gives a whiff at it with the bunt, and he doesn't make any contact with it. So he's shown bunt now on all 5 pitches, has yet to put any sort of contact on with the ball. And the count sits full here on the 9-hitter. Falmouth is led by as much as 4 and as little as 1. Currently leading by 2. The pitch comes home. Colden drills it out to left field. This ball has an opportunity to go. Back at the wall is Julio Mercado, and it sails here out of Eldridge Park. Cody Colden has his first home run of the season, and he puts Falmouth up by 5 here over Orleans. It's now 9-4 Commodores. The entire team comes out of the dugout to congratulate the 9-hitter, who is now 2 for 3 in this ballgame with a couple of extra base hits. Cody Colden all smiles as he touches them all. So Falmouth now extending this lead and just continuing to rake in this ball game. Falmouth has now hit 3 home runs in the ball game. The most that the Commodores have had in a game this season is 6. They did that last Tuesday at Brewster a week ago. And tonight, the offense is back there. 9-4 Commodores as Boyers is up now, and he has a 1-1 count after swinging at a pitch that was at the letters. So 1-1 here on the leadoff man. But Cody Colden has been tearing it up as of late, starting to get that bat real hot in the 9 spot as the 1-1 comes home to Boyers, and it's on the outside corner for strike 1 here on the TCU hitter. So those are the first runs that Connor Housley has given up since June 21st at Chatham, as the 1-2 pitch to Boyers is a breaking ball just outside. And now the count 2-2 here on Boyers. Boyers with a couple of taps of home plate brings the bat back as the left-hander looks on to Housley. And now the tall right-hander comes home with the pitch, and it's in over the heart of the plate. Boyers knew it right after it fell into the catcher's glove of Garrett Guillemette. And so that's the first out of this inning. After Falmouth was able to get the first 3 guys on, Luke Boyers goes down via the K, and that brings up Braden Taylor. Boyers, another left-handed hitter in this lineup, who digs in the first pitch he sees. He puts down the left field line, but it's going to track foul in the direction of the fans. So the count 0-1 here on Boyers. Falmouth this season 3-2-1 against the East, and on pace tonight to make that 4-2-1. They have played well against this competition this season as the 0-1 pitch just low and outside, and now the count 1-1 here on the TCU product. So the tall right-hander has his sign, comes home now, and a check swing from from Taylor, that ended up catching a piece of Guillemette as it bounced towards the dugout. So the count now sits at 1-2 here on the TCU hitter. And he'll look to avoid being the second strikeout of this inning for Connor Housley. Housley takes a long walk behind the mound. Stands at 6'4", so he's a real tall guy. The starting pitcher tonight, Thomas Schultz, was 6'6", so Orleans throwing some height out there so far tonight. Is the 1-2 home to Taylor, just inside, and the count evens up here at 2-2 on the left-handed man. Well, these are two of the top offenses in the CCBL, and we were expecting this last night, but we had anything but it as the 2-2 is low and inside. Count runs full on Taylor. 1-0 last night, today 9-4, so 13 combined runs in this ball game. Last night, the two teams combined for 6 total hits. Each team had 3 apiece. Tonight, Falmouth with 10 already in this ball game as Braden Taylor fans on the third strike of the at-bat. And now back-to-back Ks for Connor Housley after giving up the home run to Cody Colden. So that now brings up Jace Borfin, who's 0 for 2 on the night. He ended a 5-game hitting streak last night. He does not have a base hit tonight. He walked back in the second, so he did reach, but still looking for that first base hit as he fans on the first pitch of this at-bat, and he falls behind 0-1 here on Housley. Housley working quick out there. Borfin pulling his hand back and calling time as he comes into the box, and now comes set as Housley comes home with the pitch, and it's down in the dirt. Count runs even here at 1-1 on Jace Borfin. Housley shakes off a sign from Guillemette, and now has it. Deals from the windup, and this one lined up the middle, and that's going to fall in front of Jace DeLauder for another base hit, already the 4th of the inning here for Falmouth. Jace Borfin has his first of the night, and they have a man on first with 2 outs here in the inning. So that's now going to bring up Taylor Smith for Falmouth, who has to take a moment before coming to the plate as he had to take his catcher's gear off. So Taylor Smith steps to the plate, the only Commodore to not reach base tonight. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And he comes up here with Jace Borfin leading off of first in a 9-4 ball game in favor of Falmouth here in the top of the 6th. Housley from the stretch. Comes home with the first pitch of this at-bat, a breaking ball in at the belt for strike 1. Commodores really showing off their power at the plate tonight. 3 home runs in this ball game, 9 runs across. Their season high, I mentioned before, for home runs is 6. Their season high as well for runs is 14 as Taylor Smith pops this one up into the high, foggy sky into center field. And Jace DeLauder, despite the fog, able to find it and track it down for the 3rd out of this inning. But Cody Colden, the story once again here as he goes yard for his first home run of the season and puts the lead at 9-4 Commodores as we move to the bottom of the 6th here from Eldridge Park. Falmouth goes back to the bullpen here as we move into the bottom of the 6th, and Jackson Phipps comes on for his 6th outing of the season here for the Commodores. The tall left-hander out of the University of South Carolina takes the bump here against the Firebirds in a 9-4 ball game for Falmouth here from Eldridge Park. And the first batter that he'll see here in the inning is it's actually a pinch hitter. Garrett Guillemette was due up, but instead they bring on, oh, check it, it is Guillemette. His jersey number just different. So Guillemette comes up here, the 9-hitter, to start off the inning and has an 0-1 count. And this pitch is lined into left field just over the head of Cody Colden at short, and it's going to fall in front of Anthony Hall out in left field. So the leadoff man aboard for Orleans, something we haven't been able to say too much tonight, but they pick up their 6th base hit of the night. Guillemette has his 2nd, and he's on first.
Well, something Jackson Phipps needs to really work well on tonight is not allowing base hits with runners on. He's allowed 2 3-run home runs already this season in 2 different outings. So if he can get outs with runners on base, he's going to be a lot more effective the rest of the season.
Back to the top of the lineup for Peyton Chatagnier, who's 2 for 3 on the night with a couple of singles. Phipps works from the stretch now, and the first pitch in to Chatagnier is just upstairs for ball 1. Wells Day closes with 2 innings of work. He did not give up a single hit, but he had 4 walks and a hit by batter that he allowed, which ended up bringing home one of the runs for Orleans in this ball game. And also picked up 4 strikeouts in his 2 innings. So was able to set down a lot of guys in his favor, but also allowed a lot of free passes as the 1-0 pitch to Chatagnier popped up behind home plate and out of play into the stands. Bullpen has been pretty good as a whole for Falmouth this season. Struggled in a couple of games last week at Bourne and at YD, but for the most part this year, the bullpen has been one of the team's strong suits. It certainly was last night against these Firebirds, pitching 3 innings out of the pen and only giving up 1 hit and 2 walks to Orleans as the 1-1 pitch is in for a called strike, and it's now 1-2 here on the leadoff man, Chatagnier. Chatagner's 2 base hits tonight, a couple of singles that he had in the first and second innings. Here comes the 1-2 from Phipps, and it's popped up on the right side, high into this foggy sky. And just at the edge of the infield grass, Taylor lost it. He gave a dive at it, and he's able to find it. But that's the second time tonight that a ball has been popped up high into the night sky. This time, Falmouth has a little more trouble with it. But in the end, Braden Taylor tracks it down for the first out.
Well, I'll tell you what, once the ball gets to the height of maybe 3/4 up the light poles here, that ball just becomes completely gone and lost into the fog and the night sky. I think Braden Taylor just was trying to guess where it was. All of a sudden, it's towering coming down at him, and then he adjusts to make the catch. He's lucky that he was able to find it in time to make the catch, because that literally looked like it went into a black hole and just left the atmosphere. That's how it just, I mean, this fog, I took a walk behind the wall before in the outfield, and you can barely see the home plate from out there.
Luke Keishel currently with a 1-0 count here. Another guy who does not have a base hit tonight as the 1-0 pitch comes home to him, and it bounces in to Taylor Smith. Starting to go towards second was Garrett Guillemette. So Smith throws down to first, but Guillemette back in, standing up. But going back to the fog, there's a parking lot beyond right field here. We can't see the parking lot. The bullpen for Orleans is in right center field, and we can barely see it. So at this point, it is officially a game. So if it were to get called at any point, this game would go down as a final rather than a cancellation, as the 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike, and now it's 2-1 on Keishel. So that's at least the benefit is that if the fog gets heavier and they have to call this game, you can at least mark it down as an official contest. It wouldn't be 9 innings, but you'd get something out of it. As the 2-1 pitch now from Phipps, a breaking ball in at the knees for a called strike, and now it's 2-2 here on Keishel. We've got on here just to our right the All-Star game at the MLB level going on tonight. 15 Cape Cod alums playing in this year's All-Star game. None of them from Falmouth, but Orleans has 5 represented in this year's All-Star game as the 2-2 pitch is blown by the bat of Luke Keeschel, and Jackson Phipps has his first strikeout of the night.
So really good job after the leadoff single. He doesn't get too flustered with that. Phipps comes back, gets a pop-up, and a strikeout. And now with a runner on first, you got to force at second with 2 down. You can work so many different options here with a 3-hitter coming up. And this is what he's done a lot better, at least tonight so far, than in the past couple of outings when he's allowed those big hits with runners on.
That 3-hitter, Julio Marcano, who watches a breaking ball come in for strike 1. And now behind in the count, 0-1 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Falmouth on top by a score of 9-4 over Orleans. As Phipps from the stretch comes home, and it's just outside. Count now 1-1 here on Marcano. Well, some of those Orleans guys that are appearing in this year's All-Star game, Corbin Burns, who played here in 2015, Jake Cronenworth, who was here in 2014, along with Brian Reynolds, who was also here in 2015, as the 1-1 pitch comes in, and it gets away from Taylor Smith behind the plate. Advancing to second will be Garrett Guillemette, so he gets in on a pass ball from Taylor Smith, and the count now 2-1 here on Marcano. Some of those other Orleans players, Brandon Crawford, who was here in 2007, and then the other Orleans guy is actually, that's it. So 4 Orleans players in this year's All-Star game, and like I said, none for Falmouth, but cool to see so many of these Cape Cod alum getting the opportunity to play on one of the biggest stages for Major League Baseball as the 2-1 comes in, and it's upstairs on Taylor Smith, and this one again gets past him. So advancing from second to third now will be Garrett Guillemette, and all of a sudden on back-to-back pitches, Guillemette able to move from first to third, and he's now just 90 feet away.
Part of limiting the damage with runners on is not allowing runners to advance. One is a wild pitch, one's a pass ball, but Jackson Phipps has to locate better with runners on to be able to get guys out and not allow them to move up freely.
So now a 3-1 count here to Julio Marcano as Phipps doesn't even look towards third. Comes home with the pitch, and it's inside on Julio Marcano. So Marcano is able to work a 5-pitch walk here from Phipps. And so runners now on the corners here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th for Orleans. Chase DeLauder digs in now, 0 for 2 on the night with a fielder's choice and a walk. Orleans trails by 5. They have 2 guys on. As the first pitch to DeLauder, a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike. Phipps has the sign from Taylor Smith. Now the 0-1 delivery home. A breaking ball, this one a bit inside, and so the count runs even here at 1-1 on DeLauder. Orleans scored 3 of its runs in the 2nd, and then 1 run in the 5th off of Levi Wells. That's how they've gotten their 4 runs tonight. As the 1-1 delivery now from the South Carolina Gamecock outside, Taylor Smith has to scoot out from behind home plate to stop that ball. And now the count 2-1 here. So Phipps allowed a leadoff single to Garrett Guillemette, and then Guillemette was able to advance from first to third on a couple of wild pitches or pass balls, depending on how they were scored, and then gave up the walk to Marcano. Trails here 2-1 in the count to Chase DeLauder and comes home with the pitch. It's low and outside, but DeLauder fans on it. So the count runs even now at 2-2, and that swing helping out Jackson Phipps a bit, who's 1 strikeout or 1 strike away from his 2nd strikeout of the inning and the 3rd out here in the bottom of the 6th. Phipps comes set, a look towards first, and now comes home with the 2-2, grounded on the left side over to Cody Colden. He flips it to Braden Taylor in time for the 3rd out of this inning. So Orleans strands a pair of runners here to end the 6th, and we'll move to the 7th with Falmouth on top by a score of 9-4 here over the Firebirds. Connor Housley still on the mound for Orleans as we move to the 7th inning here from Eldridge Park. David Adar alongside Nat Levine. Falmouth on top of Orleans by a score of 9-4 here from Eldridge Park. Anthony Hall leads off the inning for the visiting Falmouth Commodores. It'll be Hall, Curiali, and Ducart set to come up here for head coach Jeff Trundy's team. On the night, Hall is 1 for 2. Walked back in the 2nd and came around to score, then hit a solo shot to start the 3rd inning, and then struck out back in the 5th. His 4th at-bat of the night now, and the first pitch to him is a called strike just below the belt. Housley came on in the 6th after Jack Philby gave up the leadoff single to Jake Ducart, as the count now 0-2 here on Hall. Hall, the left-hander out of Oregon, who digs in, and the 0-2 pitch comes in, a breaking ball that's just outside. Hall almost gave his bat at it, but ends up holding it back. So now the count 1-2 here on Hall. Fog still a presence here at Eldridge Park as Housley deals home the 1-2 well high and outside, and the count runs even to 2-2. Can't even see some of the fans that are beyond the foul pole down the right field line. I don't know how they're watching the game, as the 2-2 is low and inside, and now the count runs full here on Anthony Hall. Housley moving pretty quick here on the mound as he has this sign, and the full count pitch is inside as Hall has to move his torso out of the way. He twists it to get out of the way from that ball, and he's able to work the walk, so he takes the trot down to first, his 2nd walk of the night, and that brings up Michael Curiali now. Oh, check that. Pinch hitter coming up here for the Commodores as Alex Sayre is going to come in as a pinch hitter in place of Michael Curiali here in the 6th spot for Falmouth. So Alex Sayre comes into his first ball game since a week ago at Brewster. And the first pitch to Alex Sayre is inside on the right-hander out of Wright State. And the count goes to 1-0.
Sayre still looking for that really big moment this season. Just 3 for 23 at the plate in his 7 games, this being his 8th appearance of the season.
And a called strike comes in on him. Count evens up at 1-1.
Has struck out 11 times, too, which is really the reason that has kept him out of the lineup for so many days in a row. Just really hasn't put together too many competitive at-bats.
Count now sits at 1-2 here on the Wright State hitter. Sayre on the season hitting 130. Like Matt mentioned, he's 3 for 23 at the plate, and this pitch runs in on him and ends up hitting him square on the numbers in the back of his jersey. So a leadoff walk given to Anthony Hall, and then Alex Sayre gets hit by a pitch. So runners now on 1st and 2nd here for Falmouth in the top of the 7th.
Well, as a pinch hitter, your job is to just get on base. That's exactly what Sayre did. Any higher on the pitch, that would have hurt a lot more. Hit him, although there's not too much meat on the back side of, literally in the square of your numbers in the back, but any higher, that's going to probably be closer to your neck or your shoulder blades, and that's where there's a lot more bone.
Here's Jake Ducart now, who gives kind of a half swing at the first pitch that he fouls over towards the Orleans dugout. And so he's behind in the count now, 0-1. Ducart looks on at Housley. He's given up the first 2 base runners here to Falmouth. And now the 0-1 delivery high and outside. Count goes to 1-1 here on Ducart. Both Orleans and Falmouth had a couple of active players get drafted in this year's MLB draft. We'll get to those in a moment. As the 1-1 pitch comes into Ducart, it's outside, and now it's 2-1 here on the Oregon State Beaver. For Falmouth, they had a guy drafted last night. Tommy Summer was drafted moments before these two teams got underway back at Gov Fuller Field, drafted in the 10th round by the White Sox. And then today, Trey McLaughlin was taken in the 16th round by the Mets, as the 2-1 pitch is fanned on, and now it's 2-2 on Ducart. So 2 players for Falmouth, both pitchers getting drafted here on the Cape, and they're both still with the team. They're actually in attendance here at this evening's game. We were talking a little with them last night and pregame here today, and just got to hear their thoughts and hear how cool their stories are as Housley with a look back towards second, and he steps off the mound.
Yeah, McLaughlin was joking around with me about signing the contract as soon as he possibly can, and he's still a 4-year player at Fairfield, so to get another chance after his senior season, he's going to take it.
2-2 pitch runs inside on Ducart, and he ends up getting hit by it. So back-to-back hit batters given up here by Connor Housley, and he's allowed all 3 batters to reach so far this inning. So the bases are loaded here now for Brennan Malone.
And for McLaughlin to be going to a organization that currently has Jacob deGrom, the greatest pitcher on the planet right now, and drafted Vanderbilt's Kumar Rocker in the same draft class as McLaughlin, he's got to be pretty stoked about that. And then also the Mets drafted the shortstop out of Fairfield too, so his teammate from college going with him. So, I mean, he just seemed all smiles today, just so happy with how he fell into the lap of the Mets in the draft.
First pitch home to Brennan Malone is low and outside for ball 1. And it's so cool just seeing these guys' reactions from it. I mean, for years, I watch whatever draft on TV, and you see their reactions on television as the count now 1-1 on Brennan Malone. But to actually see it in person and get to see the smiles of these guys' faces and get to talk with them is just such a cool feeling. As now the 1-1 delivery from Housley is blooped into shallow center field. Coming on is their center fielder, Chase DeLauder. He's not going to be able to get it, and it's going to fall. Anthony Hall will come in from third and score. Advancing to third is Alex Sayre. Advancing to second is Jake Ducart. And Brennan Malone has himself his second RBI of the season. It's also now 10-4 Falmouth.
Third hit of the night for Malone. 3 singles, 2 RBIs tonight, 2 runs scored. I mean, talk about wanting to get yourself back in the lineup. Brennan Malone's doing everything he can to show Jeff Trundy that he has to stay in this lineup.
Malone, a guy we highlighted a lot in the preseason. And it's taken him a while, just over the halfway point now of the season, but that bat has been active tonight. Another guy with an incredibly active bat as of late, Cody Colden, who squares the first pitch to right field, going back and just in front of the wall. The right fielder, Matt Goodhart, able to make the grab for the for the first out of this inning, but scoring from third is Alex Sayre. So Cody Colden with a sac fly out to right is able to make it now 11-4 Falmouth here over Orleans.
4th RBI of the night for Colden. Gave it a ride again, this time to right field. He's gone it to right field a couple of times. That's his 5th RBI, rather. He had the RBI double in the second, then the 3-run homer, and then a sacrifice fly. So 5 RBIs for Colden, who came into the night with just 3. I mean, this is, as a 9-hitter, he's really coming into his own over the last couple of days, struggling, and then finally last night getting the only RBI of the game to give the Commodores the win. He's got all kinds of confidence now.
Back to the top of the lineup now for Luke Boyers, who watches the ball come in, now 1-0. So we're talking about the MLB draft picks that the Commodores had on the Orleans side. They also had a couple of guys from this year's team get drafted. Connor Cox went in the 12th round to the Cleveland Indians. And then yesterday, Donovan Benoit, who's actually not actively with the team anymore, he was released a few days ago, was drafted in the 10th round by the Reds yesterday. So a couple of guys on both these teams who got drafted in the 10th round yesterday. Tommy Summer by the White Sox, Donovan Benoit by the Reds. And then a couple of guys also drafted today, and Trey McLaughlin and Connor Cox. And all around the league, a lot of these guys getting drafted as the count now runs to 2-1 here on Luke Boyers. So we'll see some guys probably leave Cape here shortly. We were highlighting earlier, too, that one of the players for Orleans, Matt Goodhart, the right fielder, signed today with the Phillies. He wasn't drafted, but he was signed, and he's still playing here tonight out in right field. Count runs even here at, now it's 2-1 here on Boyers.
This is the cream of the crop when you're talking about talent to go to the next level. Just a ton of Cape League alum and then current Cape Leaguers hearing their name called over the last 3 days.
2-1 fouled into the backstop, and now it's even at 2-2. Well, I think just, you talk about how this year's All-Star game, 15, and we were saying this before, 15 of the active, or 15 players in this year's All-Star game are Cape Cod League alum. As Housley comes set, and now the 2-2 home, that's lined into left field, and going back is the left fielder Marcano. He makes the grab. Ducart thought about coming home from third, but he ends up holding off after a strong throw from left field. So Bowers pops that one out to left. He's now 1 for 5 on the night, and that brings up Braden Taylor.
Well, Sayer did a good job pretending to tag up from Ducart rather on third. Did a good job of pretending to tag up, forcing a throw to home. Had the throw gotten away, he scores. So comes off the bag a couple of steps and forces that throw from the left fielder, Julio Marcano.
Here's Braden Taylor, who's 1 for 4 tonight with a solo shot back in the fourth. And the first pitch he sees, he grounds over to the right side to the second baseman, Peyton Chatagnier. He's able to field and get the out in time at first to end the inning. But Falmouth able to bring a couple of runs across here in the seventh to extend their lead to 11-4 over Orleans as we move to the bottom half of the inning. It's time to stretch here from Eldridge Park with Falmouth on top big over the Firebirds. Bottom of the seventh here from Eldridge Park. Jackson Phipps still on the mound for the Commodores, who lead 11-4 over Orleans here from Eldridge Park. It's been all Falmouth tonight from the get-go. Another game where Falmouth was able to score first on the road with 4 runs in the second. Orleans was able to respond with 3 of their own in the bottom half of the third or of the second. But otherwise, it's been all Commodores since, as they lead by 7 here over the home side, and trying to improve to 2-0 on the year over the Firebirds. As the first pitch that Tyler Locklear sees here in the bottom of the seventh, he grounds to Braden Taylor at second, and an easy throw for the TCU product. And there's one gone on one pitch. That brings up Matt Goodhart, the 6-hitter in this lineup for Orleans. He's 1 for 3 on the night, with a double back in the second. And was one of those 3 runs to come around to score. Also the guy we were talking about earlier who signed with the Phillies earlier today. And he watches ball one come in outside from Jackson Phipps. Well, Matt was talking about last half inning how Cape Cod League is the cream of the crop. Last season in Major League Baseball, albeit a different season, nearly 300 Cape Cod alum represented the 30 different MLB teams. The count goes to 1-1 here on Goodhart. And now the delivery from Phipps. Big swing and a miss from Goodhart, and it's now 1-2. So just all around, loads and loads of talent that you get here from the Cape. I think what's coolest of all from all these numbers we keep throwing out, the fact that now 4 years in a row, the #1 overall draft pick in the MLB draft has been a Cape Cod alum. As now the count 2-2 here on Goodhart.
Just shows you the kind of talent that walks through these fields. And you come out to the Cape, some of the fields, high school fields, but guess what? The talent on the field is the best in the country. And someday, some of these guys are going to be all-stars in the majors, which is just pretty cool to think about.
2-2 popped up on the left side, just out of the road behind us here at Eldridge Park, and the count remains 2-2.
Percentage-wise, a good chance for some of these guys to really be good big leaguers one day. And we're here to watch it. It's just pretty cool every night.
2-2 down in the dirt, and it gets away from Taylor Smith. Count runs full here on Goodhart. Well, I know you were joking around with Trey McLaughlin before the game that if he needs a place to stay when he's working his way up with the Mets, that you'd be happy to house him out on Long Island.
I mean, I hope the parents are okay with that, but I'd be happy to have Trey.
I'm sure he can afford rent should they choose to pay it or charge him.
Well, I don't know if the Mets are going to give him enough money because typical franchise like that, but that's another thing.
Count remains full here as another ball fouled off from Matt Goodhart. Goodhart coming up here with one gone in the inning. Here in the bottom of the seventh, Falmouth on top, 11-4 over Orleans. And Jackson Phipps on for his second inning of the night as the left-hander deals home, and it's looped out to Cody Colden at short. Easy grab for him, and there's now 2 outs. That brings up David Marcano, who's he's 0 for 1 on the night with a couple of walks out of NJIT. Phipps comes home with a breaking ball outside here on Marcano. And now the 1-0 delivery from the left-hander. Inside, although they're going to say that was a called strike. Marcano scooted his waist out of the way, but it's 1-1. And now Jackson Phipps comes home. A check swing from Marcano. They're going to appeal down to first and say he did not go. So the count runs to 2-1 in his favor. Well, after this half inning, our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethea, will be standing alongside the newest New York Met and Trey McLaughlin. Count goes to 2-2 here on Marcano as he swings at strike 2. Marcano looking for that first base hit of the night. Orleans has 6 of them here in the contest, and Phipps is going to step off the rubber and get a new set of signs here from Taylor Smith. He has them, and the left-hander comes home now with the 2-2 delivery, and it's popped up. This one has a chance to stay in play on the right side. Taylor Smith with his mask off. Brennan Malone, though, at the edge of the fence, just at the edge, able to make the grab and keep that ball from going into the stands. And so Jackson Phipps able to work a 1-2-3 inning here in the 7th, and we'll move to the 8th. But first, let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethea.
Mets called you. You're going to the show. Talk about the emotions you're feeling.
It was very exciting. Getting that call this morning is something that I dreamed about all my life. So to actually have that become a reality, following the draft tracker and having my phone ring, it was surreal, something I'll never forget.
Awesome. Do you think being on the Cape played a role in you getting drafted?
Yes, definitely. I definitely think playing against the best kids in the country had a big impact on what just happened.
What are you going to miss the most about the Cape once you leave?
Definitely the team. The guys are awesome. I've had some close bonds with a lot of guys. The coaches have been fantastic. The interns have been awesome. Everybody, the whole organization has been fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you and good luck.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethea, catching up with Trey McLaughlin, who, like we mentioned before, in attendance at tonight's game, but likely won't see him make another start for Falmouth because he's been so lights out that the New York Mets took him in the 16th round today, and he's going to get the opportunity to potentially be a big leaguer one day. But, Matt, a lot of great answers from him in that interview with Joanne. I think what sticks out of all is when she asked him, do you think the Cape helped play a part in you getting drafted today? And without even a second wasted, an immediate yes from him. I mean, 2 outings that he had here on the Cape, went 11 innings, allowed just 6 hits, picked up 7 strikeouts, and was just so dominant for the Commodores.
Yeah, in his 2 starts, he didn't allow a run. And he delivered those starts when the team needed it the most. And one of them was against Bourne, the league's best team. Unfortunately, Bullpen came in and couldn't hold it down. But he gave the best start of the season at that time against the team that's the best in the league. So, I mean, he has the stuff. And whether he can develop or not as an older guy is remained to be seen. But he's getting the opportunity. That's all that matters. And without a doubt, those 2 starts here, with how good he was and how effective he was, big league clubs, there's scouts here every single night, directly behind home plate with the radar guns flashed right in front of the pitcher's eyes. There are certain guys that can deal with that and certain guys that can't. And McLaughlin proved to be a guy that can deal with the pressure like that. And so the Mets took a chance on him, and now we'll see how he develops. But got to wish him all the luck in the world to Trey McLaughlin.
Certainly do, and we're not sure when either he or Tommy Summers will be out of here. Like we keep saying, they're in attendance tonight, but probably soon will be headed out, and will start their journeys down the professional course, assuming they choose to sign. So we move into the 8th now here from Eldridge Park, and Jeffrey Prommel is on the mound for Orleans in his 4th outing of the season, and the first batter he sees is Jace Borfin, who fouls the first pitch over the road and out of play here at Eldridge Park. Borfin, Smith, and Hall set to come up for the Commodores here in the 8th. Prommel this season has pitched 3 2/3 innings, has really struggled. An ERA of 14.72 as the count runs even at 1-1 here on Borfin. He's given up 9 hits over his 3 2/3 innings. His last outing against YD didn't give up any runs, but the first 2 he gave up a total of 7, all of them earned, as the count goes to 2-1 here on Borfin. Pitching is not the strength for this Orleans side. As the 2-1 delivery now to Borfin, he lines right to the new first baseman for the for the Firebirds, as Tyler Locklear now out of the ball game, and in at first for them is a guy that's not on the roster. So, new first baseman, Trey Harmon. Trey Harmon in at first for Orleans, who was just activated today for the Firebirds. As now that'll bring up Taylor Smith with 1 gone here in the inning. And a big swing and a miss at the first pitch as he falls behind 0-1.
Something about baseball. When a defender comes in an inning where they're the new defender, the ball always finds them. I don't understand why, but that ball was ripped off the bat of Borfin to the new first baseman. It just gets your feet right in the game.
Harmon out of Kentucky, like I said before, was activated today. So his first game of the season, as the count now 0-2 here. Taylor Smith watches a pitch come in at him.
Smith, the only guy in the lineup. 10 guys have come to the plate with Alex Sayre pinch hitting. All of them have reached base except Taylor Smith tonight.
And on 3 pitches, he goes down swinging. So that's the first strikeout of the night for Jeffrey Prommel, his 5th of the season, and there's 2 quick outs here in the inning. That brings up Anthony Hall now for Falmouth. Hall on the night picked up a solo shot back in the 3rd, couple of walks as well. That solo shot now gave him his 2nd home run of the season, and he has 3 RBIs to his name. As the left-hander from Oregon digs in, and Prommel comes home with the first pitch of this at-bat, and it's cut on and miss. Strike 1 here on Hall. Prommel out of Southern New Hampshire University. Another tall guy, 6'5" on the mound. So we've seen 3 different pitchers above 6'3" here for the Firebirds. The starter Schultz was 6'6", Connor Housley was 6'4", and this man Prommel 6'5". Count 0-2 here on Anthony Hall. Prommel trying to pick up back-to-back Ks to end the inning. Comes set, holds the ball belt high, and the right-hander deals home. It's ripped down the right field line. It's curling foul, and it's going to find its way into the stands. As Hall puts a hard charge into that ball, but just a little early on it, it's still 0-2. Fog has cleared up a bit here at Eldridge Park. We can finally see the parking lot beyond right field, just barely, but it can at least be visible. Fans also down the right field line visible as well. So they can watch this game from down there as the 0-2 delivery from Prommel is grounded on a couple of hops to the second baseman, Peyton Chatinier. And a bit of a tough play for him as he was coming on to his left, but able to flip it underhand to the new first baseman, Trey Harmon. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Commodores. Just the second time tonight that we're able to say that, but it's still 11-4 as we move to the bottom of the 8th here from Eldridge Park. Couple of new players on for Falmouth as we move into the bottom of the 8th. Now out in right field, Doug Hodo in for Michael Curiali. And for the first time this season, one of the Mississippi State pitchers taking the mound for Falmouth is Mikey Tepper, fresh off a national championship with the Bulldogs in Omaha. Comes on here for his first outing of the season with Falmouth, and he comes on in an 11-4 lead here for the Commodores.
Well, finally we get to see one of these national champions pitch on the Cape. Showing up obviously late with the season going so long. At the end of June, wrapping up. Finally a couple weeks into July now. Mikey Tepper will be the first Bulldog that we get to see for Falmouth or one of Falmouth's opponents as well.
First pitch home here to Ben Blackwell, who's in as a pinch hitter for the Firebirds, is in for a called strike, and now the 0-1 is outside. Tepper has some good heat behind his fastball. That one, 94 miles an hour. A freshman out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, who had 11 appearances this past season with the Bulldogs. Hasn't pitched, though, since May 15th against Missouri, so it's been a little while since he's been on the mound. But so far, looking pretty comfortable out there. 1-1 pitch comes home now to Blackwell, a breaking ball that landed well before home plate, but Blackwell fanned at it, so count now 1-2 here in favor of the pitcher.
Yeah, Mikey Tepper, just a freshman, so he didn't appear in the entire postseason for Mississippi State, the team that went all the way, but did get that experience riding it out with his guys and going the distance as just a freshman. It's got to be such a cool thing.
And now the 1-2 comes home, and he blows it past the bat of Ben Blackwell, 96 miles an hour, which is some of the fastest heat we've seen from any Commodore pitcher this season. So with that strikeout, there's one gone here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, it doesn't look like he missed a beat, having not pitched in game action in just a little bit. Those bullpens and practices and everything like that, shaping up and really helping Tepper get onto the Cape and not miss a beat.
Garrett Gillamette comes up now and watches strike one come in at him. So Tepper able to pick up the first strikeout on 4 pitches, and now the 0-1 to Gillamette. is fouled into the backstop. 96 again from the Bulldog. And so he's now thrown 6 pitches, 5 of them strikes, a couple of which he's blown past the bat of these Orleans hitters. And this is some of the fastest stuff we've seen from any pitcher on the Cape this season, as the 0-2 delivery blown past the bat again. 96 again from Mikey Tepper. Back-to-back Ks for the Mississippi State Bulldog, and there's 2 gone here in the inning.
Stands at 6'2", almost 200 pounds. Mikey Tepper does, but has a burly upper body, and that's what's getting all the power. Uses his legs as well. That's where you get most of your power, but he is strong in the upper body too, so that's helping him a lot, get some velocity behind his pitches.
Back to the top of the lineup here for Peyton Chatinier, who watches ball 1 down in the dirt. So a rare ball here thrown by Mikey Tepper. And Matt, we've talked about a lot how strong the bullpen has been throughout the season for Falmouth. These Mississippi State guys, finally getting to see them play after they've been here for a few days. And this could be a really solid addition for their bullpen going forward, as this pitch popped up high into the night sky here at Eldridge Park. It'll stay in the infield just behind second base. Braden Taylor there to make the grab, and a 1-2-3 inning worked by Mikey Tepper. Couple of Ks and a pop out to get out of the inning. We move to the 9th here from Eldridge Park. It's 11-4 Falmouth over Orleans. Top of the 9th here from Eldridge Park, 11-4 Falmouth. It's been just about all Commodores this ballgame, and Doug Hodo will lead things off for Falmouth here in the 9th. Hodo came on in the bottom half of last inning as a defensive substitution for Michael Curiali out and right. Sayre pinch hit for Curiali back in the 7th. And here's Hodo now in the 8th, as he watches strike 1 come in at him. So actually, Sayre came in, I should say, for Curiali, and then Hodo came in for Sayre. As the 0-1 pitch now from Prommel is lined into left center field. Tracking over to his right is the center fielder, Chase DeLauder, and he's able to catch it on the run for the first out. So Hodo still looking for that first base hit of a Commodore. Likely won't pick it up tonight. And that brings up Jake Ducart. Ducart comes up with a couple of singles here in tonight's ballgame, and he's come around to score 2 runs for Falmouth. 2 of the 11 runs that the Commodores plated tonight. And the first pitch to him, he hits high into the air into left field. Going over to his left is the center fielder, Marcano, and another catch made on the run by this Orleans outfield. So a couple of quick outs here for Falmouth to get the first 2 outs for Jeffrey Prommel.
This fog is just unbelievable. I don't know how they're playing right now, because when the ball goes that high, I lose sight of it every single time. I guess there's a better angle on the field at the same level of home plate, but it's just so tough to see when the ball's hitting the air.
Here's Brennan Malone, who takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1.
Now, I wonder what's harder, battling sun or fog with a fly ball?
That's a good question.
Or snow, but we rarely see that.
1-0 pitch. Malone pops it back and out of play behind home plate. The snow is only a factor in a couple of places. at least at the major league level, Colorado's had a couple of blizzards. I don't know if there's any more beyond that. Minnesota. Oh, the Red Sox, of course, as the count now evens up at 1-1 here on Malone.
Can't forget about the Red Sox.
One of our interns, Ryan Prince, making sure that we bring them up. As the 1-1 delivery now to Malone is outside, and count goes to 3-1 here on the South Carolina Gamecock. That's an interesting question, though. I'd love to ask these guys what's been the toughest for them to play in, or what conditions they've had to play in. 3-1 is inside, but it's a called strike by the home plate umpire. Malone was about to toss his bat and go down to first, but he'll dig back in now for a full count. Prommel has it set, comes home with the 3-2, and this one low and outside. So a guaranteed ball that time around from Jeffrey Prommel. And Falmouth has a base runner here with 2 outs in the inning. You ever been to a game with snow?
I've not. My dad played in one in college, and this is a story I've been wanting to tell all night because of the fog and everything. He was the cutoff man as a shortstop, couldn't see his left fielder. And he's yelling at the umpires to call the game, call the game, call the game. They wouldn't call the game, so he asked to be thrown out of the game.
First pitch that Cody Colden sees, he pops up into center, and the center fielder in Chase Delauder are able to find it in this foggy sky and retire the side here in the 9th. We move to the final frame here from Eldridge Park. Orleans needs 7 runs to tie things up, 8 runs to win it. We'll have that when we come back here from Eldridge Park. From Mississippi State Bulldog to Mississippi State Bulldog, here as we move into the bottom of the 9th here at Eldridge Park. Casey Hunt comes in relief of Mikey Tepper after Tepper's phenomenal inning back in the 8th, where he struck out 2 batters and worked a 1-2-3 inning against Orleans. And his fellow college teammate and fellow national champion in Casey Hunt will take the mound here in the 9th, looking to close things out against the Firebirds and help Falmouth pick up another road win.
Well, Casey Hunt did appear in the College World Series. He appeared in Game 1 of the championship series against Vanderbilt. Went 2 innings, gave up a hit, a run, a walk, and a strikeout. That was his only postseason appearance. But to have it be in Game 1, that was the only game Mississippi State lost, albeit they end up winning the next 2 to win the title. But to have your only postseason appearance be in the championship series of the College World Series is just unbelievable. And then you go on in the next 2 games, you watch your teammates win it all. It's pretty cool.
Sure is. We've seen now a couple of Mississippi State Bulldogs, so they're national champions. And earlier this season, we saw a couple of Wingate pitchers who were national champions down at the D2 level. So these guys getting up here to the Cape as the first pitch to Luke Keishel is outside for ball 1 here from Casey Hunt.
Hunter Dula pitched against the Commodores, and he was drafted tonight out of Wingate. Started that championship game that the Bulldogs won.
Keishel drills this one into straightaway center, but so deep out there that Luke Boyers has plenty of time to get back and make the first out of this 9th inning. Well, Casey Hunt had 14 total appearances with Mississippi State this past season, 15 innings pitched in all, 14 strikeouts to 8 walks, and had an ERA of 4.8 on the season. And like Matt mentioned, had 1 appearance in the postseason, and it came on one of the biggest stages at the D1 level this year. Coming up now is Julio Marcano, who watches ball 1 below the knees. Marcano, the 3-hitter in this lineup. Falmouth just 2 outs away from picking up the win on the road here and improving to 6-2-1 away from the Gov, as the count now 2-0 on Marcano. Marcano tonight with a single, hit by a pitch, and a walk. Also a strikeout in the ball game. And 3-0 now, another pitch that's way outside from Hunt. And so Marcano with a hitter's count. Falmouth will be off tomorrow before returning to home on on Thursday to take on Wareham. As the 3-0 pitch is in for a called strike. I'm so used to these Thursday off days that feels like when we say or when they're off that there should be another game Friday, but off tomorrow, so a game Thursday. Here comes the 3-1 delivery, and it caught it. Check that. It just got away from Taylor Smith. So taking the trot down to first is Julio Marcano on a pitch that was inside, and a 1-out walk allowed here to Orleans. After that home game on Thursday, Falmouth hits the road again for a couple more Eastern Division matchups against both Harwich and Brewster. As Chase DeLauder digs in now, the left-handed hitter out of JMU. And the first pitch to him up and away for ball 1 from Casey Hunt.
Brendan Malone, the first baseman, not holding the runner Marcano on, obviously with a big lead of 7 runs. So basically, he doesn't matter all that much right now.
1-0 hit high into the air, into right center field. Boyers keeps going back, and just at the edge of the fence, one of the deepest parts of this ballpark, he's able to make the grab. So that's now 2 gone here in the inning, and Orleans has put a good charge into both balls hit into the outfield here, but the fence just so deep that Boyers able to make the grabs.
That's just a little more than 360 feet to a little bit into right center field. And with the way that these walls jet out from the corners, just straight into center, no curvature to the walls, straight into dead center to a 90-degree angle, that's probably a home run at most other Cape stadiums. But tonight, not the case here in Orleans, just deep into that center part.
Here's John Rhodes in his first at-bat of the season for Orleans. Has a 1-0 count here on KC Hunt. And now the second pitch of this at-bat, he's late on it as he fans on it on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Hunt. Or excuse me, not John Rhodes, Trey Herman, I should be saying, from Kentucky. Getting guys confused here on the Cape, as now the count 1-2 here on Harmon. Of course, John Rhodes with Katuitt earlier this season.
He was the highest drafted Cape player from this season this weekend, or this week, I should say.
1-2 delivery, fanned on and miss. Check that, they're going to say that was a foul ball. So this inning continues and this game continues. Casey Hunt just 1 strike away from recording the final out of this ball game. Harmon looks on at the pitcher, and a breaking ball in on the inside corner for a called third strike, and that's the ball game. Falmouth wins it on the road by a final of 11-4 over the Orleans Firebirds. They take both games from the Firebirds this season, and Falmouth continues its winning ways on the road, improving to 6-2-1 away from home.
Well, an offensive onslaught after last night. 1 run on 3 hits for the Commodores. They come back 11 runs on 12 hits tonight. And the pitching was really good, too. They only gave up 4 runs, and runs came across in just 2 innings, the second and the fifth. If you're going to put up that many zeros, that's 6 innings, or 7 innings, rather, of not giving up a run. You're in a good spot to win, and their offense came through in a big way tonight.
Well, it started back in the second for this Falmouth team with the offense bursting to life. Anthony Hall came on, or led off the inning with a walk, and then it was single after single after single, and then a double from Cody Colden, which helped Falmouth bring across 4 runs in that opening inning, and the Commodores never looked back en route to this 11-4 victory. The 11 runs, the tie for the second most that Falmouth has put up this season after they scored 14 at Brewster last week. So they come on tonight, have a big offensive showing, and Matt, the offense tonight does its job coming out in a big way.
Well, I said in the first inning, if they want to score more runs, they have to hit with runners on base. And I said that after Luke Boyers got on. He got on in the first inning to start the game with a single. Next 3 guys got out. Very next inning, Anthony Hall leads off with a walk. Michael Curiale follows with a single. Jake Ducart follows with an RBI single. Then Brennan Malone, the RBI single. Then Cody Colden, RBI double. It was a hit parade after with runners on base. That allows you to not only bring in guys, but then you yourself is standing on base for your teammates to bring you in behind you. So it's better than just hitting solo home runs, which we've seen twice now this season, last night being one of them. Runs only being scored off of home runs. But tonight, that's the difference. They hit with runners on, they hit with runners in scoring position, and that's how you get as high of 11 runs on 12 hits.
With the win tonight, Falmouth also improves to 4-2-1 against the East this season. Meanwhile, Orleans drops to 2-4-1 against the West. So Falmouth slowly climbing its way back up the standings. And, Matt, this is something we'll talk about on Closing the Door. But Falmouth now with back-to-back wins up to 16 points in the Western Division, still behind Wareham and Katuitt. But if they can continue these showings and ride some of this momentum they're having, they're right back in it in the Western Division.
Well, they're fighting for that 2 spot, essentially, because Bourne is just out of this world right now with 27 points already, 12 wins on the year. Falmouth now 7-8-2 with 16 points. So they're creeping up. They're going to have to beat Katuitt and Wareham a couple of times if they want to cement themselves into that one spot, essentially, because I think everybody on the Cape right now, obviously a lot can happen in the second half. Bourne could completely collapse. We have no idea. But as of now, pretty much pencil Bourne into a playoff spot, whether that's the 1 or the 2 spot, and then have Wareham, Katuitt, and Falmouth fighting for the other one in the West. And Falmouth, I think the main part is you take care of the other teams, but you have to really take care of Wareham and Katuitt. And when you face them, those are like the must-win games that will literally decide the standings whether you're in or not.
And Falmouth will have that opportunity against Wareham on Thursday back at the Gov. A 6 o'clock first pitch coming on that one, and we'll be on the air right around 5:45. Well, that does it tonight here from Eldridge Park. For our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethea, and my broadcast partner, Matt Levine, David Adar here, signing off from Orleans. Falmouth wins it by a final of 11-4 here over the Firebirds, taking both games against one of the Eastern Division teams this season, and Falmouth returns home on Thursday. Until then, have a great rest of your night, everybody. Enjoy the off day tomorrow, and we'll catch you with us on Thursday from the Gov.